Starting in Konoha, I got the Rinnegan by signing in. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination, so don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author. We are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like, and if you want exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting for you with open arms. Chapter 451. Because the strength of Demon Ryubana is too terrifying, according to their knowledge, there is no person in this world who can kill Demon Ryubana. I see, but Yim's voice was very calm. He just responded indifferently, and didn't say much. Master Yim, what should we do? Do you need to mobilize the Navy to come to Mary Joa? The 2-5 old stars asked again. No, you don't have to do anything. Yim said so, but Lord Yim, I said, don't do anything, let's go on. Yim's unbearable voice sounded again, and the 2-5 old stars suddenly did not dare to say more. Each retired respectfully. Magic Eyes, as long as you dare to come, here is your end. After the 2-5 stars left, Yim spit out such a sentence with cold eyes. Chapter 231. He destroyed the ancient weapon king, under the great attention of everyone in the entire sea. Ryubana and his party were so leisurely, and they continued to sail towards the holy place of Mary Joa. The news that Ryubana was about to hit the Holy Land had been spread for several days, but Ryubana had never made any clarifications. Now the rumors are basically true. Everyone understands that the fact that Ryubana wants to hit Mary Joa is true. In all likelihood, the atmosphere of the sea began to become weird. Basically everyone stopped what they were doing, and the activity of pirates around the world suddenly dropped to the lowest level in history. The sea calmed down like never before because everyone is now paying attention to Ryubana, and there is no time to take care of the others. Everyone understands that in a short time, the whole sea will undergo earth-shaking changes. White beard, red hair, and supernova, navy, and many forces on the sea began to gather in the periphery of Mary Joa. But strangely, no conflict occurred because in front of what Liu Ren was about to do, everything was not important anymore. Hope, on the Ryubana boat, a strange bird about 2 or 3 meters in size flew down from the sky with its wings flapping. Then he flew in front of Ryubana, and then changed and shrank for a while, turning into a lively girl. It was Nami. Master Ryubana, I can fly. That feels really good. Nami carefully felt the sensation of swimming in the blue sky below, her eyes radiating light outward. Yes, Nami has already made a choice. During the time she traveled to the holy place of Mary Joa, she finally took the phoenix bird fruit of the Udemons that Ryubana recommended to her, and the big bird just now was in Nami's phoenix bird state. It's fine if you are satisfied, Liu Ren nodded with a smile. Too, although the upper limit of the phoenix fruit is extremely high, Nami has just taken it now, and the potential of the fruit is far from being developed. Don't say that it is a former Kiwuhei powerhouse like Lao Shak. Even Nicole Robin may not be able to play, but in time, Nami will definitely leave these two behind. As for Ryubana, naturally, it goes without saying that after Nami made the choice, he did not hesitate to absorb all the devil fruits he had obtained. The facts are similar to what he expected. No devil fruit in his chakra can achieve a higher fit, but fortunately, the large number still brings a great bonus to Ryubana, whose current overall strength has increased 15 times compared to when he first came to this world. Generally speaking, Malin Vatican's trip has yielded tremendous gains. Master Ryubana, in about 7 days, we will be able to reach Mary Joa. Nami took out the map at this time, and after observing it for a while, she said to Liu Jian. Ryubana nodded, and after a moment of contemplation, he stood up and casually ordered, "Okay, Lao Shak, stop the boat." Lao Shan naturally executed it without any compromise. "You are waiting for me here." After Ryubana confessed to Nami and others, he directly used Huanquan Billion Sika to open a space door, penetrated into it, and disappeared. Now his domineering look has reached a level of horror. He doesn't need a map at all. He has found Mary Joa half a month ago. During this period of time, I also used the domineering look and feel from time to time to check the movement on Mary Joa. To Ryubana's surprise, Mary Joa was calm, and Yim didn't take any measures to prevent Ryubana's invasion. This can only explain one thing. Yim thinks that he is sure to get rid of Ryubana. Yim still has a whole card that Ryubana doesn't even know. No matter what the whole card is, it can give him that kind of confidence. Liu Ren himself is naturally not afraid of that kind of whole cards, but he is not arrogant enough to think that he can control everything. People like Nami, it's better not to get involved. At the next moment, over the Holy Land Mary Joa, a dark space door appeared. Ryubana's figure flashed out from the space door. Yimu, who was sitting on the throne in Panga City, sat upright at this moment. At the first moment, he noticed the arrival of Ryubana. Chapter 452. The magic eye is flowing. This is your own death. A cold light appeared in Yim's eyes, and he stood up abruptly. His body swayed, and he was gone in the next moment. The Eames appeared on a high platform similar to an altar, but saw that the high platform was engraved with dense grooves, and I don't know why it was used. If you are a caring person, you can actually find that those grooves are not randomly distributed, but constitute a special, complex and difficult pattern, and all those grooves are connected to a dragon-shaped totem in the center of the high platform. Yim took off his coat, with an extremely pious look on his face, then knelt down in the middle of the high platform, facing the dragon-shaped totem. The Supreme who protects our race, please listen to the call from your people, and revive my Shenlong. With that said, Yim cut his wrist and allowed his blood to flow to the dragon-shaped totem immediately afterwards. From above the dragon-shaped totem, it continued to flow into those grooves. As those grooves were filled with Yim's blood, a special pattern made of blood slowly formed, and when all the grooves were filled, light began to shine on all the grooves. The dragon-shaped totem, especially the light hum. At the moment when the dragon-shaped totem shined, an extremely huge aura and pressure instantly spread, and suddenly enveloped the entire Mariagia. It was a kind of shining majesty crackling. At this moment the sky over the entire Holy Land suddenly began to become surging, such a huge momentum. Ryubana was very surprised. It seemed that Yim really had a terrible hole card in his hand. No wonder the other party is so confident that he doesn't do any defense when he knows he is coming. Crackling, crackling, the thunder and lightning began to stagger down, becoming more and more intense, and the cyan energy began to gather and condense. In the end, a dragon that was 1,000 meters long appeared. That was exactly the King of Heaven, one of the three ancient weapons. This is the king. Although I haven't seen the King of Heaven, this is still easy to guess. In the world of pirates, there can be no existence other than the three ancient weapons that can possess this kind of power. As for the three ancient weapons, Pluto is a huge ship, and Neptune is Princess White Star, so the ancient weapon in front of you is undoubtedly the Uranus. No wonder the Shenlong people can rule the world for so many years. It turns out that they have mastered one of the three ancient weapons of the Heavenly King. At the corner of Ryubana's mouth, he couldn't help but evoke a playful smile. Shenlong, Shenlong, take a closer look. He seems to have discovered something. Crackling. After Shenlong appeared, the kilometer-long body began to flash from lightning everywhere, and he hovered in the clouds twice, like a who rules the world. Gosh, what is that? Mary Joa, is there such a monster hidden? This kind of monster can't be dealt with even if it is a magic guy. The numerous pirates who gathered from various places in the scene temporarily stopped outside of Mariagia, as well as the marines of Malin Vando, etc. Everyone who saw Shenlong was stunned. There were even people who couldn't stand still and sat down on the ground. I was so scared that my soul came out. How could such a terrible thing exist in the world with a 1,000-meter-long dragon entrenched in the sky? Is that really something that humans can handle? It's terrible. Unexpectedly, the Shenlong possessed such power. The Whitebeard who came to watch the battle was also full of shock, and he was dumbfounded for several seconds before murmured such a sentence from his mouth. In the past, he was known as the strongest man in the world, and was called by the Warring State Spirit as having the power to destroy the world. But in front of this 1,000-meter dragon, what counts? It was only now that Baber discovered that he had actually been sitting on the well and watching the sky all the time. He has always lived in his own world. He really thought he was at the top of this world, but now he looked, his white beard was too small. Before there was a magic eye and Ryubana came out, and after that there was such a terrifying super dragon. This world was not what he had imagined. Father, Demon Eye Ryubana, will you fight this terrible monster next? Even if it's him, it's impossible to deal with this monster, right? Marco swallowed hard with a grunt, sweating profusely. The other captains began to worry about Ryubana. Boss, Shenlong still have such a terrible hole card. The Revolutionary Army was also scared to pee. The Chief of Staff Sabo took a breath and said to Dorag in amazement. Dorag was also directly caught in the dullness, feeling that his whole body was wet with cold sweat. Feel a kind of fear. Fortunately for so many years, they did not have the impulse to go to Mariagia to do things. Otherwise, so many people in their Revolutionary Army might not even know how to die. Magic eyes, you must never die in Mariagia. Immediately afterwards, Dorag shook his head and let out a long sigh. Roar. Chapter 453. At this time, a dragon roar suddenly exploded like thunder, reverberating endlessly throughout the world. and the supreme dragon chant could be clearly heard hundreds of kilometers away. The whole world trembled in the dragon chant. Seeing the 1,000-meter dragon, he roared at Ryubana, crackling. One after another, huge thunder with the thickness of a thumb suddenly fell from the sky, densely intertwined with twists, and slashed towards Ryubana. Whether it's the stream of thousands of birds and the lightning attacks of annihilate in front of the thunder summoned by Shenlong, it is as small and ridiculous as a toy. This power is amazing. Ryuban's face couldn't help showing a look of shock. And he could only say that the King of Heaven is worthy of the king, and it is simply a mess. If he had just crossed over, he would kneel directly when he encountered the Shenlong teaching. It would be a powerful existence that had completely exceeded the power of the Totongmu clan. But now, with a move of Ryuban's mind, a black object emerged in his body, forming a black circular defensive body on top of his head. The thunder and lightning were completely blocked. Yes, it is to seek the Taoist jade. If it were before, facing this level of thunder attack, I am afraid that even Chiu Daoi would collapse directly. Even if Daoi was immune to lightning, it is useless in the face of extremely powerful lightning. Just like the breakdown voltage of an insulator under normal circumstances, the insulator is naturally non-conductive, but when the voltage reaches a certain level, even the insulator will be broken down, and the terrible thunder of the Heavenly King is enough to reach such a level that it can penetrate all things. Even if the powerhouse of the natural element came, it would not have any effect in front of such a thunder. Even the elementalization would be annihilated in this kind of thunder. There is no other reason. This kind of energy is really terrible. But now, Ryubana was perfectly defended by Chiu Dao Jade, and looking at Ryuban's appearance, he was very relaxed and at ease, as if he didn't take much effort at all. Impossible. How is it possible? Yimu at the altar yelled out in shock. That is one of the three ancient weapons of the Heavenly King. Ryubana was so freely able to block the opponent's attack. Can you give some face to ancient weapons? Roar! Another sky-shaking dragon's whistle shook the sky and the earth, and the Heavenly King seemed to be angry, twisting his terrifying body to the extreme, and rushed towards Ryubana. But seeing Ryubana standing calmly in place, Zuxu stretched out his hand to the Heavenly King. Shenlu Oshianten, a terrifying force appeared. That 1,000-meter giant, the Shenlong that rushed towards Ryubana, was beaten by Ryubana and flew back. What? Im almost stared out his eyes. Couldn't believe his eyes that Shenlong was actually beaten back. Even Yim was shocked into a fool, let alone Whitebird and Dorag. Each of them almost snapped his tongue, opened his mouth wide, almost broke his chin, and was horrified to the extent that it could not be added. The 1,000-meter dragon was actually repelled by the demon eye-rushing blade. Is it really a god? But then, the one that shattered the three views is still to come. But seeing Ryubana's heart move immediately afterwards, several sharp blades made of the jade for seeking Taoism were directly knocked out by him. And they were shot into different parts of the Heavenly King's body. Then, boom, all Chiu Daoi was detonated by Ryubana. At the same time, the violent explosion directly caused turbulence in the surrounding world. Even if it was hundreds of kilometers away, the shock could be felt in that shocking explosion. The kilometer dragon was directly destroyed. Chapter 232 Heavenly Obstacle shakes the stars. Boom, boom, boom. With the explosion of those jade blades that Ryubana hit, the whole world was plunged into extremely terrible turbulence. It's as if the end of the world is coming. Especially those who watched the battle outside Mariagia felt the shock to the extreme. And the waves tens of meters high swept towards them, almost overturned their boats. Needless to say, those pirates with weaker abilities, the ship under their feet was swallowed by the terrifying huge wave at the first moment, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Facts have proved that if you don't have the absolute ability, watching the battle of the magic eye is a very dangerous thing. When the terrible waves calmed down, the whole world fell into extreme silence. Everyone couldn't help but shivered, panicking to the extreme. Such a terrifying dragon was killed by Demon Eye Ryubana so quickly. Demon Eye's flow blade really is a god. Only gods can possess such terrifying power that makes people unbelievable. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How could the king be destroyed? The Yim at the altar roared like crazy. His eyes were red, bloodshot, and blood was bitten from his teeth and even his lips. He simply cannot accept such a thing. Chapter 454. The three ancient weapons are the most powerful forces in the world, and you can rule the world if you master one of them. How can it be destroyed by others? Hiss. But after the extreme shock, Yim couldn't help but took a breath again, and a boundless fear hit his heart at this moment. Yim's fear of Ryubana had reached a limit. How can it be repaired? The devil's eyes flowed. Where's he sacred? Why is there such a terrible person in the world? Yim's voice trembled, and sweat was all on his forehead. He is the ruler of the world, and the whole world is under his control. but he has never heard anything about the magic eye before this person was born. Suddenly there are no signs, there is no trace. This makes him completely incomprehensible, but now is not the time to investigate these things. Gudong swallowed fiercely and spit out, and with extreme panic, cut his wrist at the altar again. Then, the strange pattern activated by blood before appeared again, and the dragon-shaped totem also shone again, crackling, in addition to Uchiha. The thunder and lightning that had dissipated with the death of the king also appeared again. This is, Ryubana felt very surprised. Looking at the situation in front of him, will the king of heaven appear again? Roar! Sure enough, a thunderous dragon whistle resounded once again, and the heavenly dragon that had been killed by him actually appeared again. This is a bit broken, right? Ryubana vomited secretly. It is already the highest strength in the world. As a result, there is still an immortal body. How can others play this wrong? But immediately, Ryubana felt something was wrong, because now the island of Uchiha, it seems that nothing has changed on the surface, but under Ryubana's domineering perception of seeing and hearing, it suddenly became lifeless. It seems, suddenly old as a teenager. It was in contrast with the original Ryubana, full of vitality and vitality when he first arrived. I see. Liu Ren suddenly realized it immediately, although he did not understand what the heavenly dragon as the king of heaven had to do with the heavenly dragons. It was clear that the heavenly dragon consumed the energy of the entire Holy Land Uchiha. This is also the reason why Xianlong has an immortal body. As long as the entire Uchiha continues to provide energy for the Xianlong, the Xianlong will not really die. This may also be what Uchiha would be called a holy place. After thinking about everything, Liu Ren's mouth could not help but evoke a very playful smile. Although he hates the dragon people, he actually didn't plan to attack the dragon people on Uchiha at the beginning, but now it seems that even God won't let the Xianlong people live. The dragon, resurrected again? How could this be? Baybird, Dorag and others couldn't help being stunned for a while, and then couldn't help but want to yell at them. Was this giant dragon turned on and off? It was already so perverted, and as a result, it was still an unkillable lord? How can others live? Can Demon Eye Ryubana really get rid of this level of existence? Although the powerful Whitebeards didn't know what Ryubana Chiu Daoi was, they all had speculation that the trick that could blow up the 1,000-meter dragon must be extraordinary. Shouldn't it be used a few times with Demon Eye Flowing Blade? How can it be repaired? How can the dead dragon live again? Nami couldn't help but stomped her feet and cursed with great worry. Nami, trust Master Ryubana. Nicole. Robin was as calm as ever, comforting Nami from the side, but Nicole Robin may not even realize that she is also stretched straight. Roar! The terrible dragon howl sounded again, but saw the heavenly king rolling towards Ryubana again. But before he got close to Ryubana used Ki Dao Jade again to explode. The magic eye is fluent. I don't believe it anymore. You can use this level of attack without restrictions. Yim gritted his teeth fiercely, cut his wrist once again on the altar, and performed the bloodletting operation again. It's just that Yim's self-deception is that Ryubana's Taoist Jade is extremely limited and cannot be used indefinitely, but his blood can't be released several times. The amount of blood to activate the altar is actually not a lot. Yim, who had let go of the blood twice, was already a little dizzy, but even so, Ryubana would not give Yim a chance to summon the king again. Chapter 455. However, Liu Jian switched the eyes in his pupils to reincarnation eyes, using a big move he had never used since his rebirth until now. The sky is shaking. The stars, the clouds in the sky suddenly began to surging around, as if some powerful force was forcibly acting on the clouds. Then, the cloud disappeared directly, was smashed by Shang. Then from the sky, a huge to the extreme, a super meteorite with a diameter of 1,000 meters, began to fall. He slammed down towards Mary Joel. This is Ryubana's 15 times the normal 6th-level celestial shock star, and can easily summon a 1,000-meter meteorite. It's so perverted. Yes, Ryubana is planning to use the sky obstacle shocking star to completely destroy Mary Joa. Since Mary Joa is the source of the power of the king, then if Mary Joa is destroyed, wouldn't the king be over? Of course, if Mary Joa is an ordinary resident, Ryubana would not choose this way. After all, he is not a big demon king. No matter how cruel he treats the enemy, he will not turn a blind eye to the lives of so many innocent people. But the people living on Mary Joa are the celestial dragons, so Ryubana will not have any psychological burden. This kind of disgusting creature will be fine if it is killed. What's the matter? Why is it dark? In the end, what happened? Quick, look, what is that? Because the kilometer range of the meteorite is too large. It is a real cover from the sky, and it covers the sunlight from Mary Joa below. Let the whole Mary Joa be shrouded in a layer of shadow. After being stunned, Those Shenlong people of Mary Jo couldn't help but look towards the sky, and then, all their courage was broken with fright. What? This, such a big meteorite? Even Yimu observed this scene with a domineering look and feel, and he took a breath on the spot, and his wrist shivered and the precious blood was showered aside. According to his observations, the meteorite was at least 1 kilometer away. How did the demon Ryubana get such a huge meteorite? This person is so terrible to this degree. Hiss. At this moment, Yim was so scared that his whole person began to tremble, and he was completely scared to pee by the flow blade. Frightened to the cold, the dead soul was embarrassed, and almost slumped to the ground. That is not something that humans can do at all. It is something that only God can do. The magic eye is flowing blade. It's really a god. Baybird, Dorag and other people who watched the battle, their heads exploded. And they were shocked to the extent that they could not be added. The method of flowing blades can be said to have completely shattered their 3 views and collapsed their beliefs. Say meteorite of kilometers. This is too exaggerated, right? When Baybird thinks about it now, he feels very ironic. Fortunately, he was also called by the Warring State Spirit as having the power to destroy the world. The one who really possesses this power is the magic eye. That kilometer meteorite is what truly destroys the world. Magic Ryubana is not a human being. He is a god. Yes, demon Ryubana is a true god. I was beaten by God before. Many people exhaled in shock in the waters surrounding Mary Joya at this moment. Everyone came to the same conclusion. Demon Ryubana was not a man at all, but a god, because only God can use this method that goes beyond the limits of mortals. As everyone watched, they saw that the kilometer-long meteorite kept falling continuously. And the distance from Mary Joya was getting closer and closer. The entire Sky Dragon people on Mary Joya were desperate and terrified, but they could only helplessly watch the meteorite fall downward. Other than that, they can't do anything because they have no means to stop the meteorite from falling. Even the strong like Yimu have no means for today's plan. There is only the king. Hurry up! Hurry up! Im obviously knew this too. He didn't run away, just released his blood into the totem even more crazily, because he knew that in front of demon Ryubana, he could not escape at all. Even if he was lucky enough to escape this time, next time he would be ruthlessly killed by demon Ryubana. In front of demon Ryubana, he was as weak as an ant. The only way out for Yim now is to rely on the King of Heaven and fight Ryubana. Quick! Even the wrist of Yim's other hand was cut, blood gurgled out, and the pattern was quickly activated at double the rate of infusion. The dragon-shaped totem also began to light up again. Yim's eyes lit up, and his whole person knelt on the ground piously, staring at the dragon-shaped totem. At this moment, everything in the world disappeared in Yim's eyes, and only the dragon-shaped totem remained, because that was Yim's only hope. It is also the only hope of the Shenlong people. But what makes Yim desperate is that although he has activated the totem as quickly as possible, after the 2 revivals of the Heavenly King, Mary Joya's energy has been greatly depleted. The speed of this third recovery is much slower than before. Chapter 456. Crackling. It wasn't until the kilometer meteorite fell to the low altitude of Mary Joya that thunder began to flash in the sky. My God, hurry up, please hurry up. One of Yim's lips had been bitten with blood, but he didn't notice it, just staring at the totem and roaring endlessly. Crackling. The thunder outside began to become more and more violent, and groups of blue energy also appeared, and began to condense and gather continuously. The outline of a giant dragon has been formed, and with the continuous surging of the cyan energy, the outline is constantly becoming clearer. But in this process, the kilometer meteorite is also falling continuously. 90 meters. The dragon claws of the king slowly took shape. 80 meters. The king's dragon beard is condensed. 70 meters. The dragon's tail of the king became clear. 30 meters. The eyes of the king appeared brightly. 20 meters. All the scales on the king's body are formed. 10 meters. Uranus, reappear, roar. A dragon roar shook the sky, and the earth shook the earth, and the roar echoed endlessly throughout the world, and the supreme dragon might burst out and swept the world. However, boom, the kilometer meteorite slammed directly on Mary Joya. The whole Mary Joya trembled fiercely, and then suddenly was smashed into dregs, torn apart, and turned into countless fragments. Rumble. At this moment, the whole world trembled, and even people a few hundred kilometers away could feel the extremely strong vibration. Well, at the same time, the sea surface of the entire pirate world began to roll up severely, and hundreds of meters high waves swept in all directions. The terrible tsunami was directly smashed out. The world really trembled under Ryubana's move. This is not an adjective or an exaggeration, but a real fact that happened. Nani, quick, run away. All the people who watched the game changed their expressions frantically, one by one. Were they dared to watch the excitement look further, it will really be dead. Chapter 233 Demon Eyes Flowing Blade. He is God, huh? At the moment when the kilometer meteorite directly destroyed Mary Joa, a figure teleported out of Mary Joa with lightning speed, then he quickly flees towards the distance with a thunder and dare not stay for a single minute at all. There is no doubt that it is Yim with Yim's strength. Even if he was almost hollowed out by summoning Xianlong, it was impossible to be killed by a meteor. You can't stop naturally, but there is still no problem with running facing the kind of attack that destroys the world. As long as Yim's mind is still normal, he would not choose to be tough. It's just that at this moment, the sedentary Void Throne has always been a supreme ruler. And the whole person is as frightened as a dog in the family. A face was filled with incomparable horror. He exhausted all the power in his body just to escape, because Yim knew that in front of Demon Eye Liubian, he had no resistance at all. When he was in the waters of Fishman Island, Demon Eye Liubian did not show any real strength at all, otherwise, his Yim would never be able to survive. Then Yim had just rushed out of Mary Joa, who had turned into ruins, and felt that there was a flower in front of him, and a figure directly blocked his way. Yim's face turned pale in an instant. Cold sweat ran down from his forehead, revealing an extremely desperate look. However, before he had time to make any reaction, he felt that the world around him had suddenly become black and white. Laugh. Immediately afterwards, Yim's head flew out directly from his body until the moment Yim completely lost consciousness. He didn't understand how Demon Eye Liubian killed himself. Chapter 457. After all this was done, there was no emotional change on Liubian's face. The spatial vortex appeared, and the person disappeared, and when everything calmed down and the terrifying energy frenzy disappeared, the entire sea area returned to calm. But at this time, the holy place that stood at the core of the world and enjoyed the worship of the whole world, Mary Joa, has completely disappeared as if it never existed at all. Mary Joa disappeared. The Holy Land was completely wiped off the map by the magic guy, the white beard, red hair, and Doragon, other revolutionary army, as well as a group of navies. All those who watched the battle around and survivors were all stunned. As if they had been struck by lightning, they stared blankly at the sea surface that was supposed to be a Holy Land island, and they still have an unreal feeling even now. For 800 years, there has always been the highest power center of the entire world, ruling the entire world. Now it only took less than half an hour to completely disappear in this world. The aloof heavenly dragons who claim to be the creator, the 5 old stars, the ruler of the world, and so on. Everything was annihilated with it. Father, the magic eye has destroyed Mary Joa. I don't know how long it took for Marco to hold a blind eye, and muttered to the Whitebeard in a daze, seeing that the Whitebeard was equally sluggish at the moment. He swallowed a mouthful of saliva and wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. The magic eye is flowing. He changed the world by himself. Magic Eye Liubian, what the have you done? The red-haired man also turned into wood. The world is going to shake the sky. The red-haired face couldn't help showing deep concern. The rulers of the world are completely wiped out by the magic eye, so those pirates can't be restless all of a sudden, and it is conceivable that all of them are still excited as if they have been beaten in blood. The navy wants to suppress it, fearing it will be as difficult as the sky. The leader, the world government, was overthrown. It was overthrown by Demon Eye Liubian alone. Sabo exclaimed in excitement. The cotters such as Crow, Karaz and Betty were all excited, shocked, and unbelievable. No one could remain calm. These like-minded people gathered together, struggling to survive in the Navy's chase, betting on their lives. Isn't it just to overthrow the world government? But now, they don't even need to do anything. Their lifelong wish has been fulfilled at the beginning. Karaz jokingly said that the Demon Eye Liubian could overthrow the world government by himself, and no one really cared about it. But who thought? Moi Liubian actually did it immediately afterwards. Everyone around who was watching the game left one after another with incomparable shock, and the outer waters of Mariagia, where many people had originally gathered, began to become empty as if nothing had happened. Only the wind was still blowing. Maria Joa was destroyed by Demon Eye Blade. The world government was overthrown by the magic eye. The Holy Land Maria Joa doesn't exist anymore, and was completely erased from the map by the magic eye. The news that Mary Joa is completely destroyed by Liubian's natural shock star was like an atomic bomb dropped into the sea, blasting all the people in the entire pirate world. Shattered the 3 views of countless people. After hearing the news, many people didn't believe it. However, after repeated confirmations based on various channels, they discovered that this was not a rumor. Many more people personally went to Mary Joa to check it out. Sure enough, they saw that the sacred and inviolable holy place had completely disappeared. Countless people clapped and cheered. The Cheyenne Langren were slaughtered and cleaned, which can be said to be a very pleasant thing. Many people celebrated with banquets. Even many people in the Navy feel secretly refreshed, but they will not show it openly like others. Although they have always been dogs for the Cheyenne Longren, this does not mean that they like the Cheyenne Longren. No one is not disgusting with such creatures as Cheyenne Longren. The Magic Eye is a god. The Magic Eye is a real god, and Ryubana also fought the conferred god after destroying Mary Joya. It was the kind of true conferred god. Not an exaggeration. People in the entire world now generally believe that Demon Eye Ryubana is an existence that transcends the boundaries of mortals, and is a god. Only it can summon a 1,000-meter meteorite from his hands. Only it can slaughter a 1,000-meter dragon through his hands. Demon Eye Ryubana stood on the pinnacle of the world all of a sudden. What? It's impossible. Mary Joya, it was destroyed. There is the Cheyenne Long, the ultimate weapon of our Cheyenne Long people. How could it be destroyed? False. This must be false news. As for the celestial dragons on the Shambor Islands, one by one was more like being struck by lightning. Completely stupid. I can't believe this scene anyway. The Cheyenne Longren are the descendants of the Creator, and the Holy Land Marijoa even possesses a godlike existence like a heavenly king. How could it be destroyed by humans? They cannot accept it, and they are unwilling to accept it. However, what happened next was beyond the expectations of these Cheyenne Long people. Kill the Cheyenne Longren, catch those Cheyenne Long people, return to them all the things he used to do to us. Chapter 458. The people on the Shambor Islands began to rebel. A large number of people began to rush into the magnificent palace of the Cheyenne Longren, and mercilessly wielded butcher knives at them. What? For a time, the terrible screams of the Cheyenne Longren rang out all over the Shambor Islands. You! How dare you act on the descendants of the Creator? Aren't you people wanting to live, so you offend the Cheyenne Long people? Many Cheyenne Long people clamored non-stop, but the situation that the world would circle around them as soon as they got out of their throats did not happen again, and they ushered in even more ruthless ravages one after another. The Cheyenne Long people were brutally killed by the angry people, and many people were arrested. Although their lives have been temporarily saved, what awaits them may be a more cruel future than death. Don't kill those Cheyenne Long people, catch them. Treat them as the cheapest slaves. The female Emperor Hancock even led the 9 snakes and pirates, and gave the Cheyenne Long people a nightmare that was difficult to wave in their lives. The female Emperor at this time is called a spirited spirit in her heart. It can be said that Ryubana is full of endless gratitude. For many years, the nightmare of childhood has been lingering in the Empress's heart. Even if Ryubana removes the humiliating mark on the Empress's body, the shadow in her heart is always there in her dreams. She wanted to avenge the Cheyenne Longren. It was the magic eye that made her dream come true. What happened on the Shambor Islands immediately spread to the Navy headquarters, and countless dragons began to order the Navy headquarters to send troops to strengthen it. However, the Navy, who was on call like a loyal dog before, became deaf this time and did not respond at all. Now the holy place of Mary Joya has been destroyed. The 5 old stars are gone. The dragon people have been killed and only a handful of the Shambor Islands are left. The world government is falling apart. Who will take care of the remnants of the dragon people? Life and death. The world is no longer the original World Navy headquarters. Marshal's office, the warring states, and the 3 generals are all there, of course. At this critical moment, Lieutenant Admiral Carp cannot be absent. He has a serious face, and it is rare that he no longer hangs around like his own backyard. In the Green Pheasant reported the situation on the Chambordyan Islands to the Warring States. Marshal of the Warring States. Now the Chambordyan Islands has been in a mess. Everyone is encircling and slaughtering the Dragonites. What are we going to do? This is the evil fruit that those Cheyenne Long people planted by themselves. Let them taste it by themselves. The Warring States didn't have much consideration at all, and straightforwardly said, "A bunch of poor worms." The Red Dog scolded mercilessly. The days of the dragon people have passed. Don't you understand it? Without the backing of the world government, without the 5 old stars in charge, the group of idiots who have Shuang's mind in their heads. What is it? Don't worry about the Cheyenne Long people's affairs. Let's discuss how to deal with the current situation. The Warring States rubbed his temples. Now the entire sea is completely messed up. Damn eyes. What did he do? Carp couldn't help being very angry since the overthrow of the world government. The entire sea has been in chaos, and the pirates have begun to raging wildly, launching a fierce attack on the Navy. The various branches are somewhat unbearable, not to mention that it will continue to rule the sea, or the Navy may be destroyed directly, and all of this is given by the Demon Eye Ryubana. With the strength of our Navy, this sea can no longer be controlled. What do you think? Warring States Shin asked several people in front of him. The 3 generals, Carp, All have a headache to the extreme. The most critical problem now is that the pirates have become unprecedentedly active under the stimulation of the magic eye and the blade, and the overall power of the Navy is no longer enough. This is a flaw even in the New World. If it weren't for the white beard, the ant, and the red hair, then it would be the real chaos in the world, and the chaos became a pot of porridge. The white beard and red hair were better, and they were relatively safe and self-sacrificing, but the ant took advantage of this opportunity to expand wildly, which also worried the Navy. But on the one hand, the ant did this to suppress many pirates, and on the other hand, the Navy really couldn't spare much energy. Now the ant can only be arrogant for a while. I have an idea, but at this moment, a cold voice rang at the same time. A gust of wind blew in from the crack of the door, turning into a man with a tattoo of shoe prints on his cheek that was exactly the former leader of the Revolutionary Army. Dorag, dragon, do you dare to appear here? You are so brave. The red dog suddenly uttered a burst of shouts, and immediately started to attack Dorag. Sakaski. Don't be impulsive yet. The Warring States period stopped the red dog while drinking. Although they are old rivals with the Revolutionary Army, the world government no longer exists, and confrontation with the Revolutionary Army seems to be meaningless. Dragon, what are you doing here? Carp glanced at his son. Same as your goal. Dorag glanced at the crowd with a serious face, and said to everyone, although our Revolutionary Army and the Navy have different positions, they are all aimed at shaping a better world, especially now. At this time, I, like you, hope to reshape the order on the sea as soon as possible. Dorag, what do you think? Let's talk about it. The Warring States period muttered for a moment, then said he and Dorag are old opponents, and he knows Dorag very well. Although this man has been working against the Navy, he is not fighting for fame and fortune. The countries that he led to destroy are also extremely rotten countries at this time. The Warring States period believed in Dorag. The power of the Navy is not enough to deter the sea, so why don't we seek more powerful power? Dorag said meaningfully. Several people in the Warring States period were slightly startled, and then they understood what Dorag meant. Chapter 234 arrived at the ultimate island. You mean, the magic eye is fluent? After the Warring States period pondered for a while, staring at Dorag, he spit out such a sentence. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 459. Apart from Demon Eye Rushing Blade, can anyone else be able to stun the sea? Dorag asked rhetorically. The three generals, the red dog, the green pheasant, and the yellow ape, each looked at each other, and didn't say much. They are now fluent people, and Dorag's proposal is completely acceptable. The only thing that is unacceptable is Carp. What a joke. The man who trampled on the dignity of the Navy and overthrew the world government, but now the Navy has to rely on his power? This is ridiculous, Carp called out angrily. The Navy has no dignity when it is a dog for the shy and long people. On the contrary, it is the beginning of the Navy to win back the dignity when the magic eye destroys Mary Joa. Dorag beat up his father mercilessly on the side. Being a dog? How could you insult the Navy like this? Carp grabbed Dorag's collar angrily. Although the words are ugly, it is the truth. Dorag looked at his Laozi with his eyes directly, not at all frightened. Okay, Carp, now is not the time to be impulsive, Sengoku said in a deep voice, consoling his old friend. The primary issue now is not the Navy's dignity, but the survival issue. The Navy has now reached a critical moment of survival. After Carp took a few heavy breaths, he put Dorag down fiercely. Now everyone believes that Demon Eye Ryubana is a god, and can stabilize the situation of the sea. Only Demon Eye Ryubana can reshape the order of the sea. I have said everything here. I hope you can make the right choice. Hu. After Dorag finished speaking such a sentence, he once again transformed into a hurricane and disappeared. Only a few people from the Warring States period are left. Look at me after you, and I'll look at you. Warring States, you won't be really moved by the dragon, are you? Carp suddenly had a bad premonition when he saw that several people in the Warring States period appeared to be contemplative. Kapu, this is the only way, the Warring States period asked in a deep voice. Anyway, I won't accept it. If you really think about letting Morn Ryubana join the Navy, I will leave the Navy. Carp put down these words and left the office directly looking at the back of his old friend. The Warring States period couldn't help but shook his head inside after Carp left. The people of the Warring States period no longer hid them. At present, letting Master Ryubana join the Navy is indeed the best way. Green Pheasant solemnly expressed his opinion. Now Ryubana is called by the people of the whole world, and its prestige has reached an incredible height, and it has been awed by the whole world. It has reached the point where one person can frighten the whole world. This kind of deterrence far surpasses the Navy, and far exceeds the original world government. This kind of deterrence is exactly what is urgently needed to reshape maritime order. Of course, if there is only a strong deterrent, the Navy will not consider the magic eye to be blunt. Demon Eye Ryubana's consistent behavior and personal behavior were also important reasons for the Warring States period, and they decided to support Ryubana's position. Don't look at more and Ryubana hitting the Navy in the face twice, but repeatedly opening a side to the Navy net. The three generals were ravaged by more and Ryubana so many times, and they were not killed obviously. Killing them with devilish eyes was as easy as pinching an ant, but they all survived even if the 150,000 Navy team was determined to die in the fight against Malin Vandor before, but the magic eye just threw everyone into the sea. Nothing more. Don't say it was a dead person. It didn't even destroy the bricks of Malin Vandor. What is unacceptable for such a person? Convene a high-level naval meeting. The Warring States period immediately made a decision. When the Warring States period expressed his plan in front of all the senior officials, the whole conference room was in an uproar like carp. Everyone thought this was extremely absurd and nonsense. But it was just the first reaction. After everyone calmed down, they realized that this might not be unacceptable. Since Mo and Ryubana defeated Wang Xiaohui in the East China Sea and gained fame, the Navy has paid close attention to Mo and Ryubana. It can be said that he has mastered the detailed information of Demon Eye Ryubana. Although Mo and Ryubana is a mess, he never casually hurts lives, whether it is a Navy or a pirate, as long as he does not actively provoke Mo and Ryubana. Mo and Ryubana will ignore it. Even the Navy sent troops to attack Demon Eye Ryubana time and time again, but apart from the killing of the Navy that launched the Demon Killing Order, there were no more casualties. In particular, the three generals have repeatedly attacked the magic eye and have been alive and well until now. It's incredible to think about the power that the Demon Eye Ryubana can kill the Kilometer Dragon and summon the Kilometer Meteorite at will. Everyone started a heated discussion at the meeting, but the result of the discussion was very unexpected. Most people actually agreed to this resolution that seemed unbelievable at first. The Navy is not so pedantic. Even the system of Kiwohei under the king can exist, so what can't you ask Demon Eye to join the Navy? The pirates in the Seven Martial Seas under the king were all extremely vicious guys, and the Demon Eyes and Flowing Blades were much stronger than they did not know. It's not a problem to accept the magic guy's sluggishness. The real problem is how to operate it. This requires detailed discussion and a specific plan. Slowly, but in any case, the current meeting is already a good start. If you don't have any comments, then I will try to contact Demon Eye Ryubana. After confirming everyone's attitude, the Warring States nodded with satisfaction. After he returned to his office, he took out a special phone bug and contacted Ryubana, and the current plan of the Navy was told to Ryubana. Master Ryubana, there is no other way except to use your prestige to reshape the order of the sea. Please don't refuse, otherwise, the whole world will be really messed up. Sengoku sincerely pleaded for Ryubana. Yes, I agree. Liu Ren almost agreed without hesitation. After all, this world caused such turmoil to be Ryubana's pot, and Ryubana would naturally not ignore it. You can do it under my name. If you need me to cooperate, just tell me directly. Chapter 460. After he finished speaking to the Warring States period, he ended the call directly. They are counted in the Warring States period continue to operate with confidence. After many rounds of communication, discussion, and negotiation, the Navy finally reached a consensus. Invite the Magic Eye to be the Commander-in-Chief of the Navy. With Liu Ren's current rank, only the position of the General Manager can barely be worthy of it. As for the former Navy Commander, where did the steel skeleton go? This poor baby didn't fly like him, but was swallowed by the sea along with Mary Jo. Of course, the Admiral of the Navy just puts on a name, and has no real power, otherwise the Warring States period would agree. And other naval backbones would not agree. But for Ryubana, this is nothing at all. He wouldn't want something like authority even if it was delivered to him. Troublesome. When the Warring States period told Ryubana about the results of the Navy's negotiation, Ryubana didn't talk nonsense, and directly agreed. Ever since, a piece of heavy news quickly spread across the entire sea, causing an uproar on the sea. The Navy suddenly announced an official news that the former Admiral of the Navy has retired in age. From now on, the new Admiral of the Navy will be assumed by Mo and Ryubana. As soon as the Navy's statement came out, everyone on the sea was directly dumbfounded. Isn't it funny to let Mo and Ryubana be the Commander-in-Chief of the Navy? A man who ruined Mary Jo became the Commander-in-Chief of the Navy. The world's biggest joke was born, and the magic guy so fluent that he became the Commander-in-Chief of the Navy. The Navy really doesn't have a bit of face, don't you feel ashamed? The Navy fell into a group of mockery all at once. Everyone is not a fool. Why did the Navy hire Moin Ryubana as the Commander-in-Chief of the Navy? It's nothing more than that he has no ability to rule the sea, and with the help of the prestige of the magic eye, that's all. But everyone understands it, but there's really no way. Since Moin Ryubana has agreed to be the Commander-in-Chief of the Navy, it itself is a signal to everyone and shows his attitude. The sea turned into a mess, and it suddenly became quiet. The effect is immediate. No pirate dared to continue to be arrogant anymore, because at this time, if he didn't get down, it would be a provocation to the magic eye. No pirate dared to do this even after frantic expansion. The ant, who has become the #1 among the 4 emperors in strength, has also become honest after the Navy issued a statement. Of course, there were still a handful of stubborn people who wanted to provoke the authority, but they were quickly wiped out by the concentrated power of the Navy. As far as the Navy is concerned, as long as the entire sea is not in chaos, there is no problem in fighting small groups of pirates. The world just returned to peace. The order on the sea has also been re-established after Ryubana showed up at the succession ceremony of the Admiral of the Navy. He never took care of the Navy anymore. Instead, he began to take Nami and the others to look for the crucial historical text of the road sign. That last piece of historical text took Ryubana a lot of time, and he found almost all the suspicious locations before finding it. Even if it weren't for Ryubana's domineering color. To have reached the level of outer space, you can observe things that others can't observe, and you can't find it at all. Great. Master Ryubana, we have collected 4 pieces of road sign text. When they got the 4 pieces of the historical text of the road signs, everyone on the ship was all excited. Is the ultimate secret of the world coming to the surface soon, especially for Nicole Robin? His breathing became hurried, and the hands holding the rubbing drawings trembled. Is her lifelong pursuit about to be caught in her hands? With great excitement, Nicole Robin immediately interpreted the historical text, and finally connected the coordinates of the 4 pieces of historical text interpretation. The location of the final island of Lovedrew has been found. Is this Ralph Drew? I really want to know what's on it, Master Ryubana. Let's go now. Everyone on the boat was very excited, and couldn't wait to start rushing towards Lovedrew. After almost half a month, Ryubana and his party arrived at the location shown on the coordinates, but here was an endless sea without any islands at all. Huh? Are we in the wrong place? Nami touched her head, a little disappointed. No, the coordinates calculated from the road sign text are here. It can't be wrong, Nicole Robin said with a serious face. The ultimate island must be here, but it's not easy for people to discover. Ryubana actually agrees with Nicole Robin's view. The 4 pieces of road sign text are all gathered, and the possibility of misinterpretation is too low. The only possibility is that Lovedrew is not an ordinary island. Otherwise, how could it be possible that Roger alone has found this island for 800 years? In such a long time, every island should have been set foot on. In the world of pirates, islands exist on the bottom of the sea and in the air, and Lovedrew is mostly like this. Liu Ren used the domineering side and color to start a detailed and in-depth scan of the surroundings, and finally discovered that there is a huge island at a depth of 1,500 meters under the sea. He couldn't help but feel refreshed. That island is obviously Lovedrew. There was no nonsense at the moment, so he took Nami, Nicole Robin and Lao Shat and appeared on Lovedrew using the magic pupil technique. This is Ralph Drew? That's it. Chapter 461. Nami couldn't believe it, because the island seemed so ordinary, just like a deserted island with no one. Imaginary countless wealth, historical information about the 100 years that disappeared, and so on. There's nothing. So, Lovedrew is really an empty island? Is it a joke? That's why Roger came here to laugh. Ryubana also felt quite speechless and unwilling to do so. He began to scan every corner of the ultimate island with his domineering experience and color. Soon, a black box was found. Ryubana's face looked a little better now, and he stretched out his hand and used 1 billion Suka to bring the box over. When I opened it, the first thing I saw was a piece of paper, and there was a notebook under the paper. Ryubana hadn't opened the notebook for the time being, but there was a line of words written on the piece of paper, which attracted Ryubana's attention. Yes, the secret of the ultimate island is recorded in the notebook, but I advise you not to open it, or you will regret it. There is such a sentence written on it. The signature is Roger. Chapter 235. The ultimate secret of the ultimate island. Roger, is it Roger? One Piece? Nami couldn't help getting excited. This was the words left by Roger, the Pirate King, on his way to the final island. Roger had left his own traces in many key places. Not to mention, The hidden places of some historical texts alone have what Roger left behind, so everyone is not unfamiliar with Roger's handwriting, and we can be sure that this is what Roger left behind. When Roger said that, I was more curious about what was recorded in this notebook. Nicole Robin was full of expectation. Ryubana also looks forward to it. He put Roger's note aside casually, and then opened the notebook. On the first page of the notebook, there was a sentence: "The ultimate island is a misunderstanding. If you are here to find the wealth left by the One Piece, looking for the legendary great secret treasure, then you have come to the wrong place." Ryubana, Nami, Laoshak, Nicole Robin. So, is there really nothing on the ultimate island? All this is a misunderstanding. With a trace of doubt, Ryubana continued to flip through the notebook, but the ultimate island is real again. When you and your partner take an adventure together in order to come to the ultimate island, and experience the excitement of this world together, those laughter, tears, fighting side by side, this is what you are looking for. Secret treasure. When you are a group of truly adventurous people, when you set foot on the world and start adventure, you have found the ultimate island. Do you understand the ultimate island from this perspective? There is nothing too wrong with it. This is true for people like Luffy. Raleigh, the king of Hades on the Shambor Islands, once wanted to take the initiative to tell Luffy the secret of their ultimate island, but Luffy refused without hesitation. For Luffy, it doesn't matter where the Oni Piece is, or whether it exists or not. What's important is the process of finding Oni Piece together. Once they know where Oni Piece is, Luffy's adventure completely loses its meaning, because then it is not an adventure, Master Ryubana. So the ultimate island, to put it bluntly, is a game of words. Nami was a little unacceptable. It was too deceptive, right? What Nami wants is not adventure, but wealth, a great treasure. Don't worry, there's more below. Let's take a look. Liu Ren said calmly. The meaning of the final island explained on the second page is nothing wrong to some extent, but it ignores the most critical issue. Not all people are born adventurers. Not everyone is Luffy. If Roger comes to the final island and finds that there is nothing but an empty island, he will also be optimistic that adventure is an Oni Piece. Will you use Oni Piece to start the era of great navigation before you die? This is a bit unreasonable. Coupled with this thick notebook, it turned to the second page. Obviously there is still content behind. Ryubana was patient, and continued to flip it unhurriedly. The above are the words I give to friends who are lucky enough to be able to reach the final island. But the following content is left to my partners and myself in the future. These few sentences are a bit informative. The owner of this notebook specially left this notebook for himself in the future. This is very interesting. First, the owner of the notebook has already come once, and second, the owner of the notebook has not only been here once, but also knows that he will come again in the future. Who will this person be? Besides Roger, there is a second person who has been to the ultimate island. With this question in mind, Ryubana continued to look through the contents of the notebook, but as the owner of the notebook said, the following content is all vocabulary, various symbols, and even some graffiti. Style pen and ink. This is obviously something similar to ciphertext, except for the owner of the notebook. I am afraid that no one else can understand it at all. Ryubana quickly flipped over, and most of the contents of the notebook were this kind of ciphertext. It was not until the last few pages that it was restored to the original text. I know you will see it here, and I must be very interested in what I left to myself before. I'm very curious, but I'm sorry, I can't disclose that part of the content, because it involves the future and past of this world. But there is one thing I can tell you. No matter who you are, your ability to come here is my guide, because the historical text is left by me. Chapter 462. Wasn't the historical text made by the Guangyu clan in 100 years of blankness? Could it be that the owner of this notebook belongs to the Guangyu clan? This possibility is not ruled out, and of course, it is not ruled out that it is a historical text cast by the notebook owner or commissioned by the Guangyu clan. Regardless of the possibility, the identity of the notebook owner is not trivial. In the year 1542 of the Heian calendar, the world government will use the Heavenly Kings and the Pluto to reshape the world. It will be a disaster. At that time, all countries will be wiped out, leaving only the Oni Piece ruled by the Xianlong people. It's ironic. The Oni Piece that our pirates are pursuing so hard is the ultimate goal of the Xianlongren pirate. The identity of the notebook owner has been revealed to a considerable extent here, and it is unexpected that the other party is a pirate Oni Piece. It turned out not to be freedom, wealth, but a disaster. It's just that the Heian calendar is 1542, which is 20 or 30 years later. How does the other party know what will happen in the future? But if you see the message I left, you should be very thankful that none of this has happened yet, and I haven't come to this place in the future. So, I need you to do me a favor and give a signal to the future me, so that the future me must come to this place. This is very important because I left a door on the final island, and that door can only be opened by me. That door is the only hope to stop the world government. The content of the notebook is completely over here, explaining a lot of mysteries for Ryubana. For example, what exactly is annihilate? For example, why would Roger say he came early? It must have come too early. I didn't see the owner of that few pens, and failed to fight side by side with the owner of the notebook to stop the world government, and so on. It should have a similar meaning. For example, why did Roger start the era of great navigation in that way? Because Roger didn't know the identity of the notebook owner, and couldn't find the notebook owner himself to tell the other party everything. So he used this method to vaguely notify the notebook owner, but at the same time more and bigger mysteries have come. Who is the owner of the notebook? Since he left the historical text, it means that he is a character from 800 years ago. It stands to reason that he should have died a long time ago. But why does the notebook say that he will be on this final island in the future? Since the owner of the notebook left a door to stop the world government on the final island, it shows that the other party has a way to stop the world government, so why not act early? Even those who come to the island will leave information for their future self, as if they did not leave information, the future self would not have landed on the island. This mystery is still incomprehensible, and Nami, Nicole, Robin and Lao Shat also do the same. Everyone discussed it for a long time, but to no avail. But suddenly, a flash of light flashed through Ryubana's mind. The owner of the notebook is full of words like the future me, which makes Liu Ren feel very familiar. And a feeling of traveling through time movie lines blows over his face. Then, does the owner of the notebook master a means of shuttle time? If this is the case, everything seems reasonable. Why does the owner of the notebook know the future of this world? That's because the owner of the notebook is a character in the future, and he has lived until the Annihilate era of the Den. And why did he leave a message in his notebook? So that those who came to the final island could enlighten him on the final island in the future. That's because the owner of the notebook still doesn't know anything. Maybe he was not born. It is precisely because of the great nautical era that Roger started that the owner of the notebook has taken some adventures in the future to board the final island, and then saw this notebook he left for himself. Then he opened the door he left, and traveled to 800 years ago. Trying to stop the world government. However, due to various reasons, the owner of the notebook failed, so this notebook was left on the island of the final, and there was a door to guide the future self. Continue to oppose the world government. I'll go. If this is the way of thinking, then everything on the notebook makes sense. There was an incomparable light in Liu's eyes. Even Ryubana had a vague guess as to who the owner of this notebook was. The owner of this notebook is Luffy. It is easy to guess that, as the only protagonist of the pirate animation, the Straw Hat group will definitely board the final island in the future. So, is the huge straw hat in front of him the same as Luffy's straw hat? Liu's eyes lit up again, and he felt that he had caught something. Although the straw hat is very large, don't forget that Luffy is a rubber fruit person, and theoretically has the possibility of becoming a giant. Luffy's third gear, isn't it just a huge part of his body? If Luffy develops the fruits deeper and stronger in the future, it may not be impossible to become a giant. Following this line of thinking, imagine that a future Luffy, who has come to the ultimate island, has further strengthened and mastered the means that can be made giants. Then he found the space door he left behind, and fought with Yim 800 years ago. As a result, the Straw Hat remained on the battlefield and fell into Yim's hands. Looks like it's not impossible. Could it be that the ultimate secret of Pirate World was just revealed by me? Ryubana couldn't help being a little excited. As a fan of pirates, nothing is more exciting than this. Of course, all of Ryubana's is brain supplement, nothing more. There is no definite evidence to support everything Ryubana said, but this still makes Ryubana excited. What? What a liar. This is the ultimate island? A liar, a big liar? Nami's angry voice sounded, and the little money fan felt that she had been greatly deceived before landing on the island. Nami dreamed that she would have all Roger's wealth in one fell swoop, becoming the richest person in the entire sea. Chapter 463. As a result, this is it, a silly story, not even a Bailey, but for Liu Jian, Lao Shat, and Nicole Robin, everyone was very satisfied, and this trip did not come in vain, especially Nicole Robin. She really likes this process of deciphering history, going deep into history, and then discovering a new history immediately afterwards. Ryubana was full of curiosity and once again covered the entire final island with the domineering color of the sights and hearings, and as a result, he really found a place on the island with the lines of the gods. Is that mysterious pattern the door left by the owner of the notebook? In other words, is it the method used to summon that door? Ryubana thinks it is very possible, but he didn't study it much. The ultimate island has been found, and I have no meaning to stay in this world. Liu Ren immediately made a decision. He had already brushed all the powerhouses in this world, and the only reason for staying was to see if there were any secrets of devil fruits on the final island, and whether he could get more devil fruits. It has now been proved that the ultimate island has nothing to do with devil fruit. Ryubana had no reason to stay. Nami, Robin, I'm leaving. Liu Ren thought for a while, and said directly to the two girls, Master Ryubana, where are you going? Although Nami didn't understand the true meaning of Ryubana for a while, she also faintly felt something wrong. Leaving this world. To put it more intuitively, it is leaving this planet. Ryubana explained to the two. Why? Master Ryubana, why did you make such a sudden decision? Nami said with excitement. These days, she has become accustomed to staying with Master Ryubana, and now she is really caught off guard by the news. To this world, I was originally a passerby. Liu Ren said this, and looked at a few people with a smile. But you guys have left me with an unforgettable memory. Master Ryubana, will you come back in the future? Nicola Robin asked Ryubana calmly. It's hard to tell, but the possibility of coming back is unlikely. Liu Ren thought for a while and told the truth. Two sisters, Nami and Nicola Robin, couldn't help but gloom, especially Nami. Tears flickered in her eyes, and her expressions were deep. If it weren't for Master Ryubana, she would still be a poor thief who was played by the applause by the evil dragon. It was Master Ryubana who had changed her life. Master Ryubana, Lao Sha opened his mouth, trying to say something, but he didn't say it. Lao Sha, you and I have also established a bond. Before I leave, it's time to return your free body. Ryubana smiled at Lao Sha, his pupils turned, and relieved Lao Sha's other gods. The memory of the period of being controlled flashed through his mind, and Lao Sha's face flashed with anger, shock, and so on. But in the end, it turned into a complicated expression. Are you leaving? Chapter 236 Return. 8 New Life Planets. Lao Sha's mood at the moment is actually very complicated. When he recovered his mind for the first time, knowing that he had been controlled by one person for so long as a tool man, Lao Sha refused from the heart. He felt very angry. How can I be used by others as a tool man if he is determined to defeat a man with a white beard? But when Lao Sha combed through the scenes of the earth-shattering feats Ryubana did, captured the 3 generals, defeated the 4 emperors, killed the 5 old stars, raised Maria, the unanimously recognized of the entire sea, most of the anger in Lao Sha's heart disappeared. There is nothing unacceptable to be a tool man in the hands of such a person. What's more, the other party didn't do anything to Lao Sha, just asked him to investigate relevant information, and then take charge of sailing and other chores. Nothing more. To be honest, there are many people on the sea who want to replace Lao Sha's seed, and Lao Sha's harvest is not small. With Ryubana consecrating the gods step by step, he who was originally only the 7 martial sea under the king, now he has become a resounding existence in the entire sea. No one knows. No one knows. I don't know how much scenery is better than when he was the king under the Kiwu Sea. Now Liu Ren was about to leave suddenly, and Lao Sha felt a mixed feeling for a while, and I didn't know what it was like. My business is done. It's time to leave. Liu Ren nodded. However, after hesitating for a while, Ryubana still took out a few scrolls and handed them to Nami and Nicole Robin respectively. There is a technique left by me on this, which is connected to my divine power space. If you have any emergency, you can activate it with a drop of your own blood, and this technique will automatically send you into my divine power space. There are several thunder escaping attacks that I have sealed on this. They are powerful enough to kill the admiral. You keep them for emergencies. In the end, there is friendship, and it is reasonable to leave Ryubana with some means of self-protection before leaving. Nami and Nicole Robin didn't refuse either, and they took them silently. As for Lao Sha, Liu Ji didn't give him anything. With Lao Sha's temperament, even if Liu Ji gave it to Lao Sha, he would definitely not want it. What's more, as a natural ability person, Lao Sha is actually already very strong, and he doesn't need a backhand from the edge. So everyone, goodbye-bye. Ryubana waved his hand to several people, and with a thought, the people disappeared. Ninja World. Konoha Datong Muhui, who was standing in her small courtyard looking to the sky, suddenly changed her expression slightly. She had already noticed that there was an extra person in her starting ball space. There is no doubt that it must be Uchiha Ryubana. Atsuki Kaguya was about to transfer Ryubana out. Huh? So long, I'm back. Chapter 464. Liu Ren took a breath of the ninja world, and couldn't help sighing. On the other hand, Datong Muhui's face couldn't help showing a look of surprise, and he began to constantly look up and down. Ryubana very strong, very powerful. It's suffocating. Datong Mukaguaya could clearly and incomparably feel the huge pressure brought from Liu Bian's body. It was a kind, much stronger than Datong Mukaguaya, not to mention the current Kaguya. Even Kaguya in its heyday, in front of Uchiha Ryuba, is still vulnerable. What's wrong with Wei Yi? Why are you looking at me like this? Liu Ren noticed Wei Yi's gaze and couldn't help but smiled and turned his head to ask, "You are so strong now," in Huai's voice. There was a hint of surprise. She had always been expressionless. Her face finally fluctuated. "Now among those 38 people, how many can be ranked?" Liu Ren asked Wei Yi with a hint of expectation. With that, he burst out the chakra in his body. Boom! A terrifying pressure was released in an instant, and Wei Yi's expression changed suddenly. Liu Bian was stronger than she had imagined. "Is this your strength?" Wei Yi sighed in surprise. "Among those 38 people, you have no opponents anymore. So what about the Datongmu Patriarch and the 4 Great Elders?" Liu Ren asked. Immediately Wei Yi shook his head. "I have never seen the Patriarch and the 4 Elders. And their bodies have never appeared in front of the tribe." Liu Bian thought about it, and he felt that his strength so far should not be enough. His current strength is equivalent to 15 peaks of Huai, and he can directly destroy the planet under his feet with one blow, and his strength has reached the bursting star, but his explosive star can only cut the earth or punch a big hole in the earth. At present, he can't burst the earth into in one fell swoop. This kind of strength can only be said to barely have a planet-level strength beyond the earth. But Datongmu, as a cosmic aggressor race, their patriarch is basically impossible to be weaker than Liu Bian, otherwise, an interstellar race. As a result, the strength of the patriarch cannot surpass a planet, which is a bit nonsense. There is a long way to go. It seems that if you want to be foolproof, you still have to continue to improve your strength. Liu Ren couldn't help sighing in his heart. Of course, in terms of Liu Bian's current strength, the threat of the Datongmu clan has actually fallen to the lowest level in history. After all, even if the patriarch of Datongmu is really stronger than Liu Bian, he was the patriarch of a clan after all, and he would not show up easily, huh? At this time, a few figures flashed past, but it was Hokage's 6th generation of Hokage Uchiha Tomatake, who rushed over with a few people from, and when Ryubana burst out of her own chakra before, it was already noticed by Uchiha Tomatake. "Master Liu Bian, it really is you. You are back." When Uchiha Tomatake saw Ryuba, his eyes lit up, and his face was full of excitement in a blink of an eye. It has been more than a year since Liu Ren left Konoha. During this period, no information came, and Konoha didn't worry that it was fake after all. After knowing the threat of Datongmu, the hope of the entire ninja world can be said to be placed on Liu Bian. "Go back and talk." Liu Ren nodded to Fu Yu, and then went straight back to his clan land. Master Liu Bian is back. This news, like a hurricane, quickly spread throughout Konoha, causing everyone on and under Konoha to boil. Whether it was a ninja or a commoner, all of them seemed to have been beaten with blood, and they were extremely excited. "That fellow Liu Bian, has he finally returned?" Medkei said excitedly. In order to celebrate this, he was happy and decided to run 500 laps to celebrate. "Finally, I'm back." There was excitement on the red face. She couldn't wait to see Liu Ren, but considering that Liu Ren would definitely return to her clan first, and then Hokage's office, Hong had to suppress the impulse in her heart. Hong guessed well. When Ryuzen returned to his clan to repair, Uchiha Tomatake had already begun to arrange related meetings. Half a day later, when Ryubana was about to be repaired, Uchiha Tomatake personally invited Ryubana to the central meeting room of the Hokage Building. The 2 consultants, Hyuga Nikkei, Nara Suzuko, and all the high-level villagers were all present, and none were absent. Master Liu Bian. When Liu Jian walked into the meeting room, all the big guys in the room stood up and greeted Liu Jian uniformly. "This is everyone's welcome to Liu Bian, who has returned after a year." Ryu nodded faintly, and calmly sat on the main seat, while Uchiha Tomatake, who is a Naruto, was sitting on the sub seat next to Ryu. "Tell me about the situation in the ninja world this year. Has anything happened?" Ryujin asked Uchiha. "A few days. First, the pattern of the ninja world has now stabilized. Our Konoha has become the only super big village. The 4 villages of Sandayan, Mistayan, Unitan, and Yanayan stand side by side and live together under Konoha. In the past year, there has been nothing wrong with the shinobi world. No war broke out. Konoha has made considerable progress, and many good seedlings have sprung up in the village." Fu Yu convectively talked about Liu Jian, and the whole person seemed very excited. It could be seen that he was still very satisfied with the current situation. Liu Bian nodded, and didn't feel much surprise. "Konoha Yukagu IG sits in town. I don't know how much the overall strength surpasses other villages. Who dares to mess around?" No one dared to invade Konoha and became the super existence of the entire ninja world. The other 4 villages also formed a group under the threat of Konoha, cooperating closely and not invading each other. Nagato, Daito, and the others pursued the peace of ninja world, which was realized in the hands of Ryan in a true sense immediately after Fu Ai handed some related documents to Liu Bian. All of them were all related materials of Konoha compiled by Fu Ai's orders. Liu Ren just glanced at it, and put it on the table without paying attention. There is a specialization in the art industry, and the management of the village should be handed over to a professional person, and Liu Jian is too lazy to intervene. Chapter 465. In the past year, I have had little gains in another world, and my strength has been improved to a certain extent. The threat of the future has been largely eliminated. Liu Bian also briefly talked about his situation to everyone, which made the entire conference room excited. He let out a long sigh of relief, but this is not enough. Our world is not the only world in the universe. Liu Ren then poured cold water on everyone. In the world I just came back to, there is a strong man who can punch a small island in half, a strong man who can freeze a kilometer of the sea into ice, and a kilometer-long dragon. The words of Liu Bian stunned all the ninjas on the scene. 1,000 meters of sea frozen into ice. What a terrible force is this? These ninjas, they can do everything they can to cause damage to villages. Already very good, very surprised. But in fact, this world is not a very powerful world. Some world powerhouses can easily blow up a planet. Atsuki is indeed a threat to the ninja world, but it is not the only threat. In this universe, the Atsuki is not the only race of interstellar colonization, so I won't stay in the ninja realm for long. I will continue to travel in other worlds, looking for stronger power. Liu Bian told everyone his plan, which can be said to be shocking. After leaving the Hokage Building, Liu Bian naturally asked Hong to make an appointment. After more than a year of work, Hong has changed a lot. It has faded away from the original greenness, and has become more mature and more attractive. The two people were walking on the street while they talked about their long-term goodbyes. The atmosphere was still very good, but they were completely destroyed by the ignorant fellow Metke. Liu Ren, I haven't seen you for more than a year. You are still the same as before, full of youthful vitality. Metke ran to Liu Ren's side in a blunt voice. The same with you. Liu Ren smiled, although it was a little uncomfortable to be ruined by Metke. It has been a year since I saw one of my few friends again. Liu Jian was also very happy. Uchiha Ryubana has appeared again. 1 year after Uchiha Ryubana mysteriously disappeared, he appeared again. In the next few days, the news that Uchiha Ryubana reappeared in Konoha also spread throughout the ninja world. Magic Eye Rushing Blade has reappeared. Be sure to keep a low profile this time, especially when it comes to Konoha's foreign affairs. Please be careful with me. Don't offend Konoha, but a lunatic who can do everything. The shadows in the 4 ninja villages all gave this order out in the first place. Liu Ren didn't do anything, just returned to the world of ninja, and the 4 great ninja villages suddenly became turbulent. There is no way. It is true that Liu Jian has brought them a psychological shadow that is difficult to erase in their life. When the entire ninja world began to pay close attention to it, Liu Bian became an unprecedented low-key. Usually, either stay in the clan, or accompany the celebrity, or go to Konoha's current secret experimental base with the highest level of secrecy. In the more than a year since Liu Jian left, that secret base has not been abandoned. And Konoha still invests a lot of resources to maintain its operation. Shimaru has been searching for other life planets uninterruptedly. Moreover, there has been quite good progress. Master Liu Bian, in this year's time, we have found 8 other planets of life inside the base. Shimaru reported to Liu Bian with a bit of excitement. Liu Bian's spirit also shook slightly, and walked towards the instrument. Really? Show me what life planets are there. Shiwan began to open the channels of different worlds one by one, allowing Liu Ren to view them. 486. This is a world from scratch, such a giant. This is the world of attacking giants. After checking, Liu Bian is still very satisfied. The 8 newly discovered planets of life include Demiman, Scratch, Giant, Conjurer, Fullmetal Alchemist, Dragon Ball, One Punch and Zon Crimson. The pupil plus the previously discovered JoJo, Reaper, and Conan. In the next world, Liu Bian will have many more options. Chapter 237. Oshimaru, good job. Liu Ren nodded with satisfaction, and said to Oshimaru with incomparable approval, Master Liu Bian is satisfied. Oshimaru stretched out his tongue and licked his lips. Keep on working. After greeted the Dashuan casually, Liu Bian left the secret experimental base. Among all the life planets that have been discovered so far, if you eliminate Conan and JoJo, which have relatively low power systems. In fact, only the 3 worlds of Reaper, Dragon Ball, and One Punch are more suitable for slaughter. The power systems of these 3 living planets are not low enough to allow Liu Bian to improve and become stronger. However, Liu Ren didn't have any plans for which life planet he was going to anyway. According to the timeline, the 2 people of Datongmu's family will not descend into the ninja world in recent years, and Liu Ren will not be so anxious to go to another life planet. There is just one thing that I have overlooked. The world he traveled through is not just a pure Naruto world, but a fusion world composed of many cartoon planets. Not long after Liu Ren returned to the ninja world, a spherical planet was flying in the direction of the Earth in the outer space and has entered the atmosphere. The entire ninja world, including Liu Ren, knew nothing about this until 2 months later. Liu Ren, who was shopping with Hong, couldn't help changing his complexion slightly. He raised his head subconsciously and looked towards the direction of space. Liu Bian, what's wrong? But what did you find? Hong asked seriously. There is a foreign guest coming from space towards the Earth, Liu Bian said to Hong. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 466. It's the Datongmu people you mentioned before. The red face couldn't help but tighten. But doesn't it mean that the Datongmu people will not come until several years later, and now they are so early? No, they are not from the Datongmu tribe, but they are as troublesome as the Datongmu tribe. Liu Bian shook his head. They are another race called Saiyan. Yes, when Liu Jian perceives the fluctuations in the atmosphere, he immediately released his domineering look at the first moment, and he can see the aircraft, including the people in the aircraft. Clearly he recognized at a glance that the person who came by the flying machine was a Saiyan. The same flying machine as the Saiyan in Dragon Ball, and the tail on the buttocks. This thing can't be wrong. Saiyan? What a strange name. Hong couldn't help but vomit, and then asked sternly, the people of this race are actually at the level of the Datongmu race? The upper limit of this race is much higher than that of the Datongmu tribe? Liu Bian shook his head and smiled. Saiyans can be transformed into great apes, and some of the chosen children can also enter the Super Saiyan state. The potential is fully explored and starbursts are only waiting for them, which is comparable to the Datongmu tribe. Even if Liu Ren had never seen the Datongmu patriarch and did not know the strength of the Datongmu patriarch, he himself was a powerful Datongmu tribe, and he still had a say in this because the potential of the Datongmu clan is extremely limited. Apart from eating chakra fruits, there is basically no other way to become stronger. It's like a Saiyan. The more you fight, the stronger you fight. The stronger you fight, the strength increases exponentially after every abuse, which is simply incomparable. Red was very surprised. In her opinion, the Datongmu people can be called gods at all. As a result, the Saiyan race is stronger than the gods race. Fragmentation is good or not. If this was not said from Liu Jian, Hong would definitely not believe it. Liu Ren, since you know this race, can you guess the purpose of their coming to Ninja World? Hong asked worriedly. Next, this race is an interstellar aggressive race. They choose the right planet in the universe, then destroy everything on that planet, and finally sell that planet, Liu Ren explained calmly. With a red face, Hong directly covered her mouth. Cold sweat came out of her forehead. Don't be nervous. Although this race is powerful, I can handle the one who has invaded the ninja world now, Liu Ren said with his arms around the red fragrant shoulders. Although Liu Ren didn't know that Saiyan, he still had this self-confidence through the domineering feedback from what he saw and heard. Seeing Liu Ren's self-confidence look, Hong was relieved. Hong, wait a moment, and wait for me to get rid of the Saiyan, Liu Ren said to Hong immediately. But just when he was about to fly into space to intercept and kill the Saiyan, Liu Ren changed his mind again. Compared to killing the Saiyan so silently, he had a better way to deal with it. Thinking of this, Ryubana directly found Uchiha Tomatake, and gave an order to Uchiha Tomatake. You immediately contact the shadows of the 4 major villages and tell them to take the high-level villagers to the country of grass immediately, in my name. Master Liu Bian, did something happen? Fu Yu immediately asked in a deep voice. Seeing Master Liu Bian's battle, it was obviously not a trivial matter. I have noticed that an alien race is invading the Earth. Based on the direction and speed of the opponent's aircraft, I think he will land in the country of grass in 3 days. The truth of this world, it's time to let everyone know, Ryzen said to Uchiha Tomatake. This is why our Ryubian chose to let that Saiyan land in the ninja world. Ryubian is to let people in the ninja world see with their own eyes that there are other terrifying races in the interstellar, and ninjas are not in front of those races. Even to say something that is not exaggerated, the ninja can't break the defense when people stand motionless in this way. The entire ninja world is facing the huge threat of those alien enemies, and under the same hatred of the enemy. There will naturally be no war or something. This is just one. The second is more important in Liu Bian's view because until now Liu Bian has only discovered extremely limited life planets, and there are too many other life planets that he does not know exist. Tongmu and Saiyans are definitely not the only external threats. One day in the future, there may be other races invading the ninja world. Now it is necessary for the ninja world to adapt and advance. Alien race invasion. Uchiha Tomatik's complexion changed drastically, and the cold sweat on his forehead ran down. Even if he is now aloof in the entire ninja world, he can't calm down unlike the others. Fuyu and who I have had a lot of dealings in the past year. And Fuyu feels as weak as a reptile in front of Huai, and Fuyu also knew the secret of Master Liu Bian. Master Liu Bian has now become a member of Kaguyaji's family. Strictly speaking, he is also an alien. Its strength is so strong that it can crush a ninja with a single finger. This is Fuyu's concept of alien races at this moment. When he heard the alien race invade, how could he remain calm? Master Liu Bian, I'll do it right away. Fuyu didn't dare to delay the slightest, and immediately ordered the liaison team to contact the shadows of the other 4 villages as soon as possible. Nani? The alien race invaded the ninja world. Such a thing happened. The high-level officials of the major villages such as Terumi Ming, Maki, and Huangtu were all bewildered and shocked by the words, and they were so caught off guard. According to the legend of Ninja World, the goddess Uyoshi who now lives in Konoha came from other planets thousands of years ago. Could it be that the alien races that Liu Bian said are similar to the existence of the goddess of Uzumaki? No one can remain calm. Ao, ask Emb to get ready. Let's go to the country of grass immediately. Terumi Mei made a decision immediately. Similar scenes also occurred in the other 3 villages. Chapter 467. Although the words of alien race invading sounded rather absurd, no one doubted Liu Bian's words because with Liu Ren's current strength, if he really wants to do something to the 4 ninja villages, no one can stop him. Even if the other party is willing, the 4 ninja villages can be wiped out easily. There is no need to engage in conspiracies. Therefore, since Uchiha Ryugu said that there was an alien race, there must be neither Konoha nor the other 4 ninja villages kept this matter secret. So within 3 days, the news quickly spread throughout the ninja world like a hurricane. Have you heard that alien races have entered? In this world, is there such a thing? This is the news from Konoha. I don't think it can be faked. Uchiha Ryubana said that the other party will show up in the country of grass. Can we go to the country of grass to see it? In these 3 days, the ninjas from all parts of the ninja world rushed to the country of grass in unison. By the 3rd day, the country of grass can be said to be overcrowded, with blackheads everywhere, and at the center of everyone's crowd, Uchiha stood with a sword around Liu Bian. There were high-level leaders in several big villages, such as Terumi Ming, Maki, and Huangtu, and even the Iron Kingdom Miss Yun, who had never been involved in ninja affairs, came this time. Everyone's faces full of solemnity. Uchiha Ryubana, will alien races really come? Terumi Ming stared at Ryubana and asked what everyone wanted to ask. Be patient, you will see it in about half an hour. Ryubian stared at the Saiyans aircraft with domineering look and feel, and casually said to Terumi Ming and others. Complexion could not help changing slightly. In half an hour, this can be said to be coming soon, except for these few people beside me. Everyone else must not come close to me within a range of 500 meters. Then, Liu Ren glanced around and said in a deep voice to the ninjas who were watching, Uchiha Ryubana existed like a demon in the ninja world, killing countless people in the ninja world, and almost maimed the 4 major villages with his own power. Who dares not listen to what he said? In an instant, everyone began to retreat frantically, and soon gave up a radius of 500 meters. Within the 500-meter range, there are only the high-level members of Ryubian and the 5 major villages, as well as some important figures in the ninja world, such as Zianan, Yohiko, and Mifune of the Daito and Akatsuki organizations. Alien race? I really want to see it. Daito raised his head and glanced at the direction in the sky, and couldn't help but snorted coldly. Among the many people on the scene, only a reincarnation eye was transplanted, and the most powerful belt soil faintly felt the energy fluctuations above the ninja world. Although the other people are also watching the air all the time, they can't perceive anything. Look! There really is something in the sky, alien aircraft. That is the alien race, Uchiha Ryubana said. Come. Alien race, here comes. It wasn't until 20 minutes later that the aircraft appeared in the sight of everyone, and it caused a commotion at the scene. At first glance, the aircraft is not part of the ninja world. It is so much higher than the level of science and technology in the ninja world. It is easy to distinguish the alien race invasion that Uchiha Ryuzen said is true. Everyone was shocked. There was excitement, nervousness, and a trace of anticipation. Everyone stared at the aircraft without blinking. In this way, under the gaze of everyone, the aircraft got closer and closer, and finally appeared in the sky above the ninja world. Boom! Immediately after that, the aircraft looked like a meteor, and slammed on the ground of ninja world, smashing the entire ground into a big hole. The aircraft opened immediately, and a man like an iron tower sprang out of the aircraft. Everyone's eyes on the scene were all on the man, but seeing that man is not the style of this world in terms of dressing, looks, and everything, giving people a sense of fragmentation. After this person came out, a huge and faintly suffocating sense of oppression also radiated. But everyone did not feel the slightest chakra fluctuation from this person. What's more terrible is that he is obviously a good person, but the other party has a tail on his buttocks. At this moment, everyone believed more and more that this person was indeed an alien race. This is, as soon as the Saiyan came out, he saw that the surroundings were surrounded by people, and he was stunned subconsciously. But after that, I couldn't help getting excited, and even laughed out loud, being able to discover his existence so long in advance. This shows that this planet is still 2 times, and it can make him a little bit interested. Did soon. The Saiyans began to use the observation equipment worn on the glasses to check the battle data of those onlookers around. I found that most of them were in the dozens, not even more than 100, and a look of disappointment appeared on his face. Is this planet only such a level? Who are you? Why come to our planet? A voice rang, attracting the attention of the Saiyans. The Saiyan turned his head away in response to the sound. His eyes could not help but light up. The group of people standing in the center, the data is not weak. Several people have exceeded 100, especially the one who had just spoken to him was over 300. It can be said to be very good. Chapter 238. Chapter 468. Listen, you natives of a lower planet, I come from the most powerful fighting race in the universe, Saiyan, Marcel, this is my name. You must remember that being able to destroy under this name is the glory of you natives. Saiyan Marcel stood there awe-inspiringly, like a high god, looking at the strange guy with one red eye and circled eyes who was talking to him, and said at the same time, he was making a ruthless sentence to everyone else on the scene. As soon as this word came out, all the ninjas around became frightened and angry. This alien race called Marcel seemed to really want to destroy the ninja world. What's more, there is a tone that ninja is a scum, and that Marcel is a superior existence, which can be said to be irritating. I have no interest. Remember the name of the dead man, with a cold snort from the mouth of the earth. He stretched out his hand directly to Marcel's Uchiha, and the power of the reincarnation eye was activated. Whoosh whoosh, a few missiles just bombarded Marcel. Marcel just glanced, with a look of disdain on his face, just as the old stood in place with his arms in his arms, without even hiding. Boom boom boom. In the next moment, all those missiles hit Marcel's body, but when the smoke dissipated, everyone on the scene couldn't help showing extreme surprise, because Marcel was not flushed or breathing, and still stood there with ease. Even the strands of hair have never been messed up. Hateful, the face with it is called an ugly. He had expected that the Saiyan would not be weak in strength, but he didn't expect the opponent to be so strong. Shiro Dao's attack had absolutely no effect on him. Vientian Shianayan. There was an angry shout from the mouth of the earth, and the power of the heavens once again launched on Marcel, and a huge suction suddenly acted on Marcel's body. However, it is embarrassing, Marcel still didn't even move. Only one long hair that fell to his waist was blown. The face with oil was completely black. How ugly, and there was still an unstoppable surprise on the face. The strength of the opponent is far beyond his expectations. For tickling, this strength is okay. I'm very comfortable. Marcel nodded with approval, making the dirty face black into the bottom of the pot. After saying this, Marcel slowly stretched out his hand, stretched out a finger, and then pointed towards this oil laugh. A beam of energy as thick as a thumb shot directly at this oil hiss. At that moment, Taitu suddenly felt like he was being stared at by an ancient beast, as if someone was holding a knife on his neck. The hairs all over his body stood upright, and a conditioned reflex smelled an extreme sense of crisis. Tato knew that if he was hit by that energy beam, he would be seriously injured. Even if he didn't die, that energy attack is so strong. Of course, being strong is only second, and the attack speed is also fast to the extreme. The average Hongren can't react at all, and only elite level ninjas above Shengren can avoid it. This Saiyan is really strong. However, the earth did not evade. He transplanted a reincarnation eye, but the divine power riding round eye has always been retained. When Marcel's attack hit him, the dirt-carrying power blur was automatically launched, and Marcel's energy attack directly penetrated the dirt-carrying body and hit the ground. Boom! Where the ground was hit by the Marcel energy attack, a dark, bottomless hole suddenly appeared. Huh? Marcel's originally lazy, low-level creature's face finally changed a little. It's interesting, this combat power is only more than 300 scum, and it is unexpected that there is such an interesting method. Solving escape, the art of melting monsters, a cold voice sounded. Terumi Ming took the opportunity to open her mouth and sprayed a large swath of extremely corrosive acid at Marcel. Boom! But Marcel suddenly burst into a powerful wave of energy, which directly bounced the acidic liquid away. It's not that Marcel was afraid of the acidic liquid. Terumi Ming's battle score was only over 100, but Marcel was as high as 2000. In Marcel's eyes, Terumi Ming is an ant, and any attack from the other party is not worth mentioning to him and cannot cause any harm to him. It's just that the acidic liquid looks a little disgusting. The faces of the surrounding ninjas are even more ugly. Terumi Ming is a shadow of mist, and his strength is at the top of the entire ninja pyramid, an absolute top powerhouse. But the blood he was proud of was dissolving in the bounds of the world, and in front of this Saiyan, he could not hurt a single hair of his family. Still, in the case of people motionless, Ryun has been watching all this with cold eyes, and has never done anything. Letting others such as bring earth, Terumi Ming and others test the waters. This is also one of the purposes of Liubi, and he hoped that the people in the ninja world could clearly realize what level the alien races are. After being attacked by Terumi Mei, Marcel slowly turned his head, and a cold and ruthless gaze hit Terumi Mei's face. So high. Chapter 469. Terumi Ming chrysanthemum suddenly tightened at the same time. Marcel stretched out a hand again and pointed it at Terumi Mei. There was a faint sweat on Terumi Ming's forehead. Earth burst into the sky. At this time, a cold shout rang out, but he saw I2 stretch out his hand and let out a loud shout at Marcel. Yes, after transplanting the reincarnation eye for such a long time, the ability of the reincarnation eye is almost developed. By bringing the soil, the big tricks like Earth Burst and Sky Star can also be released smoothly. Click. As soon as this technique was released, an inexplicable force directly moved Marcel into the air. At the same time, an irresistible suction surged out. The ground began to crack in large areas and then peeled off one after another. Huge stones began to fly into the air, condensed together, and finally formed a large earth ball with a diameter of tens of meters. Marcel was sealed inside. Good, terrible sealing technique. Look at those eyes. He belongs to the Uchiha clan? Who the is he? Does Konoha still have such a powerhouse? The earth-bursting star can be said to have dropped his jaw. This level of sealing technique, for most ninjas, is the kind of smashing 3-view level, which is simply terrifying. Even the tail beast is completely helpless in front of this terrible seal. Right, of course, as early as more than a year ago, the tail beasts in the major villages were forcibly taken away by Uchiha Ryubana, and now there is no tail beast in the ninja world. Seeing the huge earth ball floating in the air, everyone couldn't help but feel a little excited. Did this trick work? Everyone's eyes widened, their eyes fixed on the big ball. However, boom, the next moment, the big ball exploded directly, turning into countless rubble, and shooting in all directions. Just the stones that are shot out. It is not weak and Shinobu's cutting tool to throw. Chi. The sound of breaking through the air continued to sound, and piece by piece of rubble launched a fierce attack on the surrounding ninjas. The expressions of the ninjas changed drastically one by one, and they began to use their abilities to dodge and crack. Many ninjas were directly injured, and some weaker ninjas even died on the spot. How can this be? A look of shock appeared on Daitu's face, and she exclaimed in exclamation. The earth-burst heavenly star actually only sealed the opponent's effort for just a few seconds. This Marcel is too terrible. The other ninjas, such as Uchiha Tomatake, Terumi Ming, and Maki, were also stunned. There are so many tricks. Marcel just hovered in the air, holding his arms, condescendingly looking down at the soil and the ninjas around him. A looks down on an ant-like expression. It's just a pity. It's just the useless struggle of the weak. Marcel let out a cold snort of disdain. Kaka. At this time, a burst of huge energy began to surge, but the pupils in Konoha's 6th generation of Hokage Uchiha Tomatake's eyes were constantly flowing, and all the blue energy began to condense around him in just a short amount of effort. A bottle of blue giant, 50 or 60 meters high, appeared in front of everyone. But seeing that the blue giant was wearing a slick armor, wearing a Tengu mask, and holding a large sword in each hand, it was unspeakably majestic. There is no doubt that it is Suzuo Nanghu. This is the legend, Susanoo. Unexpectedly, the 6th generation of Hokage has such a trick. Susanoo, it's actually true. There was a burst of exclamation around, and the ninjas around were shocked. After all, The behemoth of 50 or 60 meters is indeed too amazing. Boom boom boom. While everyone was watching, they saw that the giant Nasusa walked towards Marcel step by step. With every step, the earth trembles. The momentum can be said to be very huge. It's kind of interesting. The guy who used to have only more than 100 combat effectiveness has suddenly grown to over 400 combat effectiveness. Their combat effectiveness will change. It's interesting, but still useless. Marcel still stood in the air with a golden sword, holding his arms, and staring curiously at Giant Suzuo and Fu Ai. Boom! Giant Suzuo quickly came to Marcel, grabbed the sword in his hand, and hit Marcel severely. Marcel still flashed a faint disdain in his eyes, did not dodge, and directly punched Susutetto. Chapter 470. Boom! The terrible energy fluctuations suddenly erupted, and Fuyu's Susutetto was interrupted by Marcel with a punch. Not only that, but Giant Suzuo flew out directly under Marcel's punch. What? Is this an alien race? Well, it's terrible. Even Sasano can't stand the blow. The many ninjas around all took a sigh of relief, almost staring their eyes out. Fuyu also used a lot of energy to barely stabilize his body, and a huge wave was also set off in his heart. This guy named Marcel is too abnormal. Whoosh! At this time, Marcel turned into a black shadow, and at a speed that Fuyu could not react, he flew to Fuyu's side, still punching Fuyu in the past. Boom! Giant Suzu was hit by Marcel all at once. Fuyu's body was ejected directly like a cannonball, and people couldn't help but spout a big mouthful of blood in the air. At this time Liu Bian stretched out his hand at Fuyu, and Wang Xiang Xianin's power used, and directly sucked Fuyu in front of him. Fuyu staggered and stood firm. After a few breaths, Convection said, "Master Liu Bian, it seems that no one is his opponent except you. Retreat," Liu Ren said to Fuyu, and Fuyu respectfully retreated to the side. Liu Bian walked towards Marcel step by step. At this time, "It seems that you are the strongest here." Marcel looked at Liu Jian with a hint of curiosity. "It's ridiculous. The strongest with only more than 400 combat power. Nani?" Marcel stopped abruptly in the middle of what he said, and a look of shock appeared on his face because he suddenly found that the data on the instrument was constantly increasing. 800, 1000, 1005, 2000. Soon the opponent's combat value reached Marcel's level. However, this is not the case. The opponent's combat value has not stopped increasing, but continues to continue at a terrifying speed. 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. In the end, Liu Bian's combat value stopped at 42,000. How is it possible? This is impossible. Marcel almost glared his eyes, and let out an incredible exclamation sound, as if he was struck by lightning. Such a high combat value, even if they are rare in the Saiyan clan 20 times as much as him, on such a low-level planet, would there be such a level of power unexpectedly? This is impossible. Really? What kind of broken instrument is broken? Marcel took the instrument down in a huff and threw it on the ground. But despite this, Marcel looked at Liu Bian's gaze, and he was filled with incomparable solemnity, and he did not dare to be careless at all. Even if he didn't use that instrument, he could still feel a powerful sense of oppression from Liu Bian's body. Wan Xiong Bianyin. At this time Liu Bian stretched out his hand to face Marcel. Imaginary one, and a huge suction suddenly appeared. Marcel couldn't bear this kind of suction at all. As if fluttering in the wind, he began to fly towards Liu Bian uncontrollably. Chapter 239. What? How could this happen? Marcel was taken aback and couldn't believe it. In front of the section force sent by the other party, Marcel felt that he was so small, there was no resistance at all, can only be sucked away by the suction. Drink. Since he couldn't resist, Marcel simply didn't resist. He let out a loud shout, and the anger on his body began to raging wildly as a result. His whole body seemed to be shining brightly. The terrible energy is turbulent. The aura exuded was much stronger than the aura exuded by Nine Tails. Boom boom boom. In the burst of shouts, Marcel fired one after another terrifying gas bombs at Liu Bian. Every shot of the gas bullet is more powerful than the nine-tailed beast Jade, and a small hill will be leveled off with any shot. Although these gas bombs were just spurs, all the ninjas around couldn't help but sweat profusely and swallowed wildly because they felt an extremely powerful pressure. They couldn't breathe at all. Even some of the weaker ninjas couldn't help shivering. It can be seen how powerful those gas bombs are. Seeing this, Liu Ren didn't switch to the Hungry Ghost Dao's ability to absorb those gas bombs, but still maintained the power of the Heavenly Dao to deal with Marcel. But at this time, the armed color domineering attached to the other hand, lightly waved his fist, and blasted at Marcel's gas bomb. Boom boom boom. The terrifying energy fluctuation suddenly exploded, and the whole scene was shaken, as if the end of the world had come. What? Chapter 471. Surely the physical body alone broke my gas bullets. Marcel almost stared his eyes out, shocked to the uttermost. In the next moment, the Marcel had already been attracted by Ryubana using the power of heaven. Not good, Marcel whispered inwardly. Before he could make any other reaction, Ryubana stretched out his hand and grabbed his neck. Click. The next moment, as soon as Ryubana used his force, Marcel's neck was directly broken by him. How so? Marcel's face was shocked and unwilling, and he murmured like a dream. He couldn't believe that he was a Saiyan. How could the most powerful race in the entire universe be killed so easily on such a low-level planet? Marcel is really not reconciled, but the world is not shifted by Marcel's will. Even if he is not reconciled, he can't change anything. Marcel's eyes went dark, his consciousness was completely lost, and he became a corpse. But for Ryubana, it's not over yet. Taking advantage of the fresh energy that Marcel had just died, he directly used the power of the human world to extract Marcel's soul. Well, what's going on? Am I dead? Marcel's soul was confused at first, but quickly figured out the situation. The whole person couldn't help but began to tremble. Can this person even control the human soul? This is too scary. Has Kakarot been born? Ryubana stared at Marcel's soul and asked, how do you know Kakarot? Marcel asked in a surprised and puzzled way. Boom. Ryubana was too lazy to answer Marcel's words, and directly used the power of the human world to shake Marcel's soul apart. According to the story of Dragon Ball, after Kakarot, that is, Monkey King, is sent to the Earth, the planet Vegeta of Saiyan will be destroyed by Frieza, including Monkey King and the entire universe. There are only 4 Saiyans left, including Vegeta, and that's it. Now that Monkey King has been born, it means that the end of the Saiyans is coming, so the ninja world has basically gotten rid of the troubles of the Saiyans. Immediately after, Ryubana didn't have any nonsense. He used the supernatural space to leave the scene, leaving only a stunned crowd. Messy in the wind. Everyone, you look at me, I look at you. One by one can't be calm. What happened just now can be said to have caused too much shock for everyone. The news of Saiyan Marcel's invasion spread throughout the entire ninja world like a hurricane, causing an uproar in the ninja world. All the ninjas in the entire ninja world were plunged into a great shock. The various ninja villages immediately held high-level meetings to discuss the Saiyan invasion. The wind direction of the shinobi world began to change quietly, and because of Marcel's influence, Ryubana had to change his plan. After thinking for a while, he summoned the entire Konoha executives again. Ryubana-sama, do you plan to resurrect Uchiha Madara and the first adult? Are you planning to pull Uchiha into the partnership? Uchiha Tamatik was still very surprised when he heard the news of Ryubana. The decision of Master Ryubana was too sudden. Yes, you have also seen that the threats we face in the future are not limited to the Totongmu clan. In the endless universe, there are other interstellar races active, and the current strength of our ninja world is too weak. Liu Ren's words made the Konoha seniors in a room silent. The atmosphere became a little depressing for a while indeed. So in front of the Saiyan Marcel, there was not even one person in the entire ninja world who could contend against the opponent except Master Liu Jian. This was really not good. So, Ryubana-sama, do you want to improve the strength of these people? Nara Suzaku suddenly understood Ryubana's intentions. Yes, I plan to let the 3 of Zuma, Uchiha Madara and Uchiha take this oil to the planet I went to before to strengthen my own strength. Ryubana nodded. The reason why Madara and take this oil to the world of the pirates. Liu Jian also referred to his own method of strengthening. There is also a free reincarnation eye in this oil, which can be assigned to Uchiha Madara. In this way, both of them can use the sealing technique to absorb the energy in the devil fruit, so as to achieve the purpose of quickly becoming stronger. The reason why the big pillars are allowed to go together is for the purpose of balance. Both Madara and Daito are lawless masters, and in the world of the pirates, they are afraid that they will cause great chaos in that world, and Ryubana didn't want to turn the pirates' world into a mere harvesting ground. In other words, he didn't want to destroy that world wantonly because he needed to create a strong one. Ryubana couldn't do this kind of thing. The important role of the big pillar is reflected here. Of course, the big pillar does not have the reincarnation eye, and cannot become stronger as quickly as Madara and the others. Maybe because of insufficient strength, Madara cannot be suppressed. This is also not a problem. Ryubana will leave a yin and yang escape clone to the big pillar, specifically to help the big pillar. After all, absorbing energy, to put it plainly, is the power of yin and yang to escape. The big pillar does not have reincarnation eyes, so it does not possess this power. Then Ryubana gives him this kind of power. Kaguyaji? Chapter 472. For the time being, I can only be wrong and sit in the ninja world. Otherwise Liu Ren would not be relieved to go to other life planets after all. Kaguya-ji is probably the only person who has the ability to deal with interstellar powerhouses. The first-generation adults will naturally have no problem, but Ryubana-sama, Uchiha Madara, and Uchiha Dato, are they really okay? Hyuga Nisaba raised his own question. Both of these are Konoha super traders. I will make sure of this, Liu Ren just said lightly. In fact, whether Uchiha Madara or bringing soil, the starting point for doing things in the ninja world is good. But it is just being deceived and headed for a crooked road. Liu Ren believed that as long as they told them the truth of this world and let them see the peace that the ninja world can achieve at present, both of them would make the right decision. Master Ryubana, I understand, Uchiha Tamatik immediately responded. Is there anything we need to prepare? Just wait for my news, Liubian said, and then left the Hokage office directly. Immediately afterwards, Liubian used the domineering look and sense to cover the entire ninja world, and instantly found the soil, and then used the magic of divine power to appear in front of the soil. Uchiha Ryubana, it's you, bringing the soil to see Liubian again. His mood is still very complicated. Once he and Liubian were enemies, and the two sides fought against each other many times, and even nearly died in Liubian's hands with the soil several times. But when Uchiha Ryubana dismantled Kazuki's deception, he couldn't hate Ryubana with the soil. After all, the two sides no longer had any reason to oppose each other. Bring the soil just fell into a great confusion, don't know where to go in the future, don't know the meaning of his existence. He has lived like a walking dead for more than a year. Take the soil. Why do you look so decadent? Liu Ren said hello to the soil, and sat down on the opposite side. What are you trying to do when you came to me? With a blank expression on his face, Liu Jian glanced at Liu Jian. Give you a new life, Liu Ren said very pretentiously. Bringing the soil as unmoved, as if not hearing it. Liubian was not in a hurry, so he explained the things about other life planets to Bring Earth. He was only slightly surprised when he heard Bring Earth, but he quickly recovered his calm. Didn't the Saiyan who just invaded the ninja world come from another planet of life? This is an indisputable fact. If you want, I can take you to other life planets. Liu Ren spit out such a sentence leisurely. Daitu's always lifeless, stagnant face finally showed a trace of mood swings. I go. After only hesitating for a few seconds, Brings Oil made a decision. He couldn't find the meaning of his existence in the ninja world, so he might as well go to other worlds to see. Otherwise, if you keep going like this, Take Two is really afraid that he will decay in this world. Conditions. Liu Ren didn't go around the corner, and said to the soil, my purpose in taking you to other life planets is to make you stronger and give you the power to protect the world of ninja. If I am not here in the future, but alien races come to invade the ninja world, I hope you can fight for the ninja world. I may have said that too much? When Marcel came, your performance did not disappoint me, although Tai Tu was decadent and lost his life goal. Deep down in his heart, he still cared about ninja world. Bringing the soil didn't say much, he just looked straight at Liubian. He knew that Liubian must have other conditions, it could not be so simple. Sure enough, Ryujin continued to say to Teitao, you are not my only candidate. This time I plan to take you, Zuma, and Madara Uchiha, but I need you to give Madara Reincarnation Eye. Is it Reincarnation Eye? That kind of thing is useless to me, and it doesn't matter if you give it back to Madara. I agree. With this oil almost without much consideration, he agreed. Things are much smoother than Liubian imagined. Wait for my news. After greeted Dato, Ryujin returned to Konoha, and resurrected Senjujuma and Uchiha Madara just like resurrecting them in the world of pirates. Using the power of reincarnation and the 6 realms of unclean soil, they achieved a perfect resurrection. Then, Liu Ren told them everything they needed to know. Senjujuma and Uchiha Madara quickly understood everything. Is that so? There are other life planets in this world. The Saiyan Marcel just invaded the ninja world. In the future, the Atsuki clan will also invade the ninja world. Uchiha Ryubana, for the future of the ninja world, in order to protect the safety of the ninja world, it is my duty. Dazhuzi did not hesitate at all, so he agreed directly. Other alien races, Uchiha Madara sneered. It seems that this ninja world still needs my Uchiha Madara's power. To Ryujin's surprise, Uchiha Madara also readily agreed. In fact, more than a year after Ryujin left the world of ninja, Uchiha took this oil to find out the truth and learn the reincarnation art of the dirty soil stolen from Konoha, and reincarnated Uchiha Madara under the 2 opposites. Uchiha Madara also knew that he had been cheated, so what Ryujin told Uchiha Madara about the truth about Uchiha Madara being a black pawn, Uchiha Madara had already known. Very well, since everyone has no objections, let's follow the plan. Liu Ren shrugged and quickly started to execute. Half a day later, 3 people, Senjujuma, Uchiha Madara, and Tato appeared in the secret experiment base. Master Liubian, the passage has been opened. Deshimaru also opened the channel to the pirate world in accordance with Liubian's request. Is this another planet of life? The eyes of Senjujuma, Uchiha Madara, and Daito couldn't help but light up slightly. Liubian stretched out his hand at this time, and a black liquid-like thing split directly from him, flowing to the feet of several people. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 473. Uchiha Madara, Uchiha Belt's oil. That thing is nothing else, it is Hiju. Chapter 240. Liubian's disguised death plan. Except for the big pillar, Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Daito are quite familiar with this thing. It can be said that they are too familiar. When Liubian's Heiju had just split up, the two almost couldn't help but have an urge to go up and kill Ju. It was this thing that made the two of them play around like monkeys. Had it not been for Uchiha Ryubana to reveal Kazuki's tricks in time, the two of them would have been on the wrong road long ago and would not be able to turn back. This is my consciousness. It will go to this other world with you, Liu Ren said lightly, and said nothing else. But whether it is between the Senjuzu, or the spot or the soil, everyone understands it. When it comes to another world, it will definitely be the spokesperson of Uchiha Ryuki, the leader of these people. This is something that everyone is tacitly aware of. After that, Liu Ren didn't say much nonsense, and transferred the big pillar and others into his divine power space, and then condensed the jade for seeking Taoism and passed through the passage. Once again appeared in the world of pirates. The way to become stronger, my consciousness will tell you. I hope you can gain something in this world. After saying this to the Desahuzi people, Liubian passed directly through Huai's starting ball space and returned to the ninja world again. Master Liubian, I don't know which life planet you are going to next. In the experimental base, Dashmaru solicited Liubian's opinion. Yes, in addition to sending a few people from Big Pillar to Pirate World, Liu Ren also changed his original plan. At first, he planned to stay in the ninja world for a while, but after meeting Marcel, Liu Ren planned to advance the time. Don't wait, I will enter another world immediately. Let's go to the life planet that I named the Reaper, Liu Ren said to Shemru after a moment of hesitation. When going to the world of death this time, Liubian has 2 main goals. One is to upgrade his methods, and to put it more bluntly is to Dijian, compared with the Ghost Way and the Zanpaku knife and the of death. The Kijin ninjutsu in the ninja world is a bit too backward. If you are in the ninja world, you may not show anything, but if you put it in the universe, it is definitely a fatal disadvantage. Who will wait for you to seal the seal when you are fighting for life and death? No matter how fast you knot the seal, it will take time. Even if you get the flowers, it will be a kind of lag, and you will suffer a congenital loss when you meet a master. This is one of them. The second is Liubian's plan to get Bengayu to complete further evolution. Bengayu is nothing worse than chakra fruit. Although this thing cannot bring huge power instantly like the chakra fruit, the evolution of Bengayu has unlimited possibilities. The upper limit is extremely high. Just look at A's. And not only that, in the world of Reaper, there are many regular methods, similar to the ability of lethal quantity, mass killing, world reconciliation and so on, which is simply overbearing and unreasonable. It seems to be a higher level of power. Liubian is also very optimistic. Master Liubian. As you wish, Ashamaru's voice sounded. He naturally did not hesitate, and immediately opened the channel to the world of death for Liubian. Liubian didn't have any nonsense, condensed a protective layer of Chiudeo jade, and rushed into the channel. Suddenly the person just disappeared. The next moment, a flower in front of Liubian's eyes appeared in a street full of modernity. The familiar siren sounded. There are also various neon lights, flashing billboards, and various high-rise buildings, making Liu Ren suddenly feel like a world away. It's been a long time, a modern city. This is the world that Liubian is familiar with. After getting better in the bustling city, Liu Ren opened the door casually and walked into a coffee shop, asked for a cup of coffee, sitting on the seat by the window, drinking coffee while admiring the scenery outside. That's a cozy. What do you want to do if Liu Ren has no money? Haha. The key role of writing round eyes is reflected here. After enjoying the prosperous scene of the modern city, Liu Jian's heart moved, and he directly opened up the domineering look, and enveloped the entire planet just like Professor X, who turned on the brainwave enhancer. All of the people on the entire planet, not falling, were all reflected in Liu's mind. In addition to those ordinary people, There are also some other special groups that also came to Ryubian's mind, virtuals that appear sporadically in almost every city, as well as those gods of death sent by the soul world to perform tasks in reality, Mako Hirako, and other masks hidden in this world. These extremely special existences did not exceed Ryubian's perception. Seeing and smelling domineering is indeed an extremely convenient thing. Found it, Kurosaki Ichigo. Soon, Ryujin's eyes couldn't help but brighten. He saw Kurosaki Ichigo, the son of destiny in this world, in a high school. Moreover, the age of Kurosaki Ichigo is about the same as in the original play, but Rukia carefully searched for Rukia, but he couldn't find it. Chapter 474. It seems that the plot has not officially started yet, but it is estimated that it will not be long before Rukia Kuchiki will actually appear in Karakura town. However, Liu Ren clearly remembered that when he was studying the scroll of the Red Sand Scorpion, he accidentally encountered Jengmu Jianba when he opened the world channel of the of Death for the first time. At that time, Jengmu Kenpachi didn't wear either blindfolds or Death Tyrant outfits. Based on this judgment, Ryubian judged that Reaper's timeline should be when Genki Kenpachi had not yet become the captain. It's not in line with the current plot that is about to unfold. After pondering for a while, Liu Ren felt that his previous judgment seemed to be one-sided, and not wearing a blindfold could not explain anything. It is not surprising that Kenpachi took off his blindfold when he encountered an extremely powerful enemy. As for not wearing the Death Tyrant outfit, Liu Ren didn't know why, but now it seems that even more wooden swordsman has other things. Liu Ren is too lazy to explore. Since the plot is about to begin, then I will also start to act, Liu Ren said silently in his heart. Soon. Liu Ren locked the domineering look and sense of sight on a Su body 20 kilometers away. He silently walked out of the cafe without a word. Just try it with you. Liu Ren walked to the blind spot of the surveillance, and then disappeared by using the magical technique. In the next moment, he appeared in a void 20 kilometers away. In front of him, there was an ugly thing wearing a mask that looked like a bug, and at first glance it looked a bit hideous and could definitely scare children to cry. Liu Bian felt it up close, and he found that he could clearly see this imaginary even if he didn't need to see and hear the domineering. There are no obstacles. After thinking about it for a moment, Liu Ren felt that this was mostly the power of yin and yang that he possessed, and the power of the human world in the eyes of reincarnation. This allows him to see the soul without hindrance, and emptiness, to put it plainly, is actually a soul, but a soul that has undergone a mutation, and nothing more. It is not surprising that Liu Bian can see the emptiness. Roar. The animal roared like a roar from the empty mouth, and it rushed towards Liu Bian directly. Liu Jian was unmoved, but with a move of his mind, he directly transferred this imaginary feat into the space of the starting ball, which was called a rapid, and in the place 5 streets away, of Death wearing a Death Tyrant costume, holding a mobile phone in his hand, quickly rushed towards the place where it had originally appeared. But suddenly, the small dots on the screen of the phone disappeared. What happened? The of Death felt very strange. After thinking for a while, he quickly used the instant step, and appeared in 2s where the phantom was originally located. But everything at the scene was normal. There was no abnormal situation at all, not even half of it. Is there something wrong with the instrument? The Grim Reaper touched his head and murmured to himself. After that, the of Death left directly. It's just that what he never thought was that the virtual one he was looking for was ravaged by Liu Bian. Liu Bian first shook his hand and shot a few kunwu came to Su, and all those kunwu pierced into Su's body. Fire escape, water escape, Mudun, Chidori, wind escape. Then, Liu Ren experimented with his own ninjutsu, pupil technique and all other methods, and found that it was completely effective for this imaginary one. As a result, Liu Bian was completely relieved. Su and Death are actually two sides of the same thing. These methods work on the virtual, which means that they also work on the death. This is a good thing. This is the basis and prerequisite for Liu Bian to get rid of the corpse and soul world chaos. Chi. After the simple experiment was over, Liu Bian shot a few black rods casually, nailing the virtual one to the ground, temporarily confining it. Looking at this imaginary one, Liu Bian began to sort out his thoughts through the fight with the Su. He has a deeper understanding of the existence of Su. Although the emptiness is transformed from the soul, it is a different thing from the soul, and it can be regarded as something similar to the tail beast of the Naruto world, namely, an energy body. The difference is that the imaginary is composed of energy bodies such as spirit suns, and the tail beasts are composed of energy bodies such as chakra. That's all. The death god and everything in the corpse soul world are similar. They are all composed of energy bodies like spirits. In other words, Liu Bian's existing methods are able to function in this kind of system without hindrance. Then next, start executing the plan. The first step is to find a way to get into the corpse soul world, incorporate into the corpse soul world to sign in, brush all the abilities such as Ghost Deo, Zanpei Knife, etc. you may get, and then get Bengao in the process. This is Liu Bian's initial plan. However, if you want to get into the corpse soul world, there is one of the most critical problems, that is Liu Bian is not of death, but a living human. So can human beings pretend to be the of death? Liu Bian is not clear, but he thinks it is theoretically feasible. What is the difference between the gods of death and the anime of Reaper and human beings? Chapter 475. You must know that these gods of death are actually no different from human beings in terms of composition alone. They are not soul bodies in the traditional sense. These gods of death will bleed, have internal organs, have bones, and need to eat. Their physical composition is exactly the same as that of human beings. It seems that the only difference is that humans cannot see him, nothing more. So what is the decisive index that really distinguishes humans from death? The answer is actually very simple. 2 words. Ling pressure. Humans have no spiritual pressure. So what is Reiatsu? To put it bluntly, it is energy fluctuations. In fact, chakra fluctuations can be regarded as a special kind of spiritual pressure. The chakras with 7 attributes of yin and yang of Liu Bian Jingfeng, thunder, water, fire, earth, yin and yang. It is theoretically achievable to change one's chakra attribute fluctuations because wind, thunder, water, fire, earth, yin and yang, these 7 attributes themselves are the basic components of everything. In theory, Liu Bian can achieve the purpose of imitating the spiritual pressure of the corpse soul world by combining and fusing these 7 attributes with each other, but this is only in theory, and it is too difficult in practice. After all, chakras with different attributes are equivalent to developing a blood succession boundary by themselves, but they pay attention to talent. Even if Liu Bian is super in the world of Naruto now, but his strength is strong, his aptitude has not been improved. This kind of thing is also very difficult for him. It seems that I can only find that person. After Liu Bian thought about it, he made a decision with a thought. He retreated from the space of the beginning ball, seeing and hearing the domineering color covering the entire earth. Scanning soon, Liu Bian's mouth curled up with a smile. Found it, Immediately afterwards, Liu Bian disappeared in the divine space, and the next moment, the figure of Ryubana appeared in a very inconspicuous but very promising place in Kuzucho, Uchiha store. To outsiders, this is just an ordinary convenience store, but in fact, this is the secret base of Agami Uchiha Kisuke. Yes, Ryuzen is planning to come to Uchiha Kisuke for help in Reaper. Uchiha Kisuke's IQ is not weaker than Aizen. Not only that, Uchiha Kisuke is also a first-class scientist in this world. Now it has a pivotal position in the soul world, and the Technology Development Bureau that became the scientific and technological responsibility of the soul world was founded by Uchiha Kisuke. Now the director of the Technology Development Bureau, Niuri, is a younger brother in front of Uchiha Kisuke, especially in the battle of the last millennium. Kisuke Uchiha has researched important things several times at critical moments, and played a pivotal role in the War of the Quincy Division that annihilated the Friend Habatch. If there is anyone in this world who can help Ryubana disguise the of death, then there can be no other people besides Uchiha Kisuke. Chapter 241, More Wooden Sword 8. Count Nabal in front of me. Standing in front of the ordinary convenience store and looking at it for a while, Liu Jian didn't have any nonsense, and walked in directly. The store manager Uchiha Kisuke was sitting lazily in the store, flipping through a book. As if he were a lazy boss. This gesture is simply the sense of sight that Kakashi is studying carefully with the intimate heaven while holding Ryutetsurse, Xiao and other salesmen. They are busy with their own affairs, such as sorting containers and cleaning. At first glance, it really looks like that. Boss, here's a guest, somehow entertain me. Lori Xiao, with a double ponytail, couldn't stand her lazy boss anymore. She couldn't help but shouted to Uchiha Kisuke with a broomstick. Uchiha then put down his book, stretched and walked towards Ryubana. What the guests need, Mr. Uchiha, I asked you to talk about some important things. If you don't mind, maybe we can talk to you in your basement, Ryuzen said to Uchiha Kisuke with a slight smile. The clerk who held the disguise of Ryutetsurse, Xiao, etc., stopped their actions together, and looked at Liu Jian with extremely vigilant eyes. The sluggish color on Uchiha Kisuke's face also disappeared cleanly. He looked straight at Ryubana. He couldn't see anything on the surface, but his heart was also full of guard. This person broke his identity in one go, and the basement in the other party's mouth also means something. Obviously, I knew that this convenience store was just a cover, and that Uchiha Kisuke's real base was not what I saw in front of him. I don't know what the guest wants to talk about, Urahara Keisuke stared at Ryuzen calmly and asked, talk about it about entering the corpse soul world. Liu Ren said directly. Keisuke Urahara's pupils shrank slightly, and then smiled. I don't understand what the guests are saying, Urahara Keisuke. I have said it for this kind of sake. Obviously, I know your identity. There is no need to pretend to be any more, right? Liu Ren shrugged helplessly. Then tell me, what is my identity? Urahara Keisuke still didn't have the bottom of the convection blade, but instead helped his hat brim and glanced at Ryu Blade. Keisuke Urahara, the captain of the 12th Squadron of the original Goroi 13th Squadron, was also the first director of the Technology Development Bureau. Later, in order to rescue Hirako Mako and the others, he was calculated by Aizen Soyosuke and was expelled from the corpse soul world. Will I continue speaking? Enough is enough. It seems that the guests are not ordinary people. Urahara Keisuke showed his true face this time. Then what is your identity? A person who can help you and deal with AI Ran, Liu Ren said indifferently. The guest seems to have misunderstood something. I am just dying in this world to get a place to live. Urahara Keisuke shrugged. Finally, I should have expected this kind of result long ago. Liu Ren sighed a little helplessly for Keisuke Urahara. Uchiha Ryu was a person who suddenly appeared and didn't know the details. Don't say it's someone with high IQ like Urahara Keisuke. Even an ordinary person can't trust Razor. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.